The Gary W. Harris Canada Game Centre is where we will be watching wheelchair basketball action between Team Saskatchewan and Team Quebec as Day 5 of the Canada Games is underway. Welcome inside. My name is Kayla Gray. Quebec hoping to continue their dominance at the tournament in the Canada Games. 23 consecutive victories dating back to 2003 when they also were in competition. But lots of other action taking place on Tuesday as hockey, ringette, speed skating, and boxing underway. Let's take you to what happened from Monday in hockey. Team Quebec taking on Ontario. Captain Justin Robida, son of former NHLer Stefan Robida, rifles one upstairs. And that gives Quebec a 2-goal lead. Quebec out shooting Ontario 23-6 after the first. And these boys, yeah, they're loving it. Meantime, Toronto's Ontario's captain Shane Wright coming off a 4-goal performance. Gets a good chance, but no. Third period, back to Robida here. Works the give and go. Just buries it. Quebec thumping Ontario 7-3 remaining in the top spot in Pool A. Over to wheelchair basketball we go from Monday's action. Pool A action as well. Quebec taking on Manitoba. Quebec just eyeing their 5th consecutive gold medal at the game. It was a lopsided affair with Quebec winning 67-34. And Benjamin Palmer led the way for Quebec in scoring with 15 points. He's also a member of the Black Aces, a group of able-bodied athletes who typically train with the Canadian senior men's national team. Quebec eyeing their 5th consecutive gold medal games, 23 straight victories, and they hope to keep it rolling when they take on Saskatchewan on TSN 3. Well, Saskatchewan actually dropped their second game of the tournament, winning their first as they got underway in preliminary actions. For more on today's action, let's go to Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick.
We are just moments away here in Red Deer from Saskatchewan taking on Quebec in wheelchair basketball. And we're going to give you a look at a couple of players to watch for in this game, starting with Team Saskatchewan and Jared Satos. He's got 13 points in each of their first 2 games, and he's a guy that you should expect something similar from today?
Well, absolutely. He averaged over 20 points a game in the 2015 Canada Games. He also was a star player for the team in 2011 as a youngster, and he'll be the player to watch for Team Saskatchewan.
So a lot of experience there with Jared Satos. Also experience on the other side with Team Quebec, who's always very successful at this event, and they are led by 22-year-old Benjamin Palmer, who's averaging 16 points per game so far in the event.
Well, he too, when Quebec won the gold last time, averaged over 20 points a game. He's also what they call a black ace, so he gets to go and play against the national team once in a while, so he's no stranger to tough competition.
So in addition to those 2 guys, there's a few other names that we'll definitely be keeping track of as we work our way through here, and there's a lot on the line. Playoff positioning still up for grabs here for both Quebec and Saskatchewan, and we've got action coming up here from Red Deer in just a few moments.
Well, what makes a wheelchair basketball just so special is that it showcases its inclusivity, meaning able-bodied athletes compete alongside athletes with disabilities. And for twins Tanner and Bryson Bolianitz, although they have differences in their abilities, they say the sport keeps them close.
Having him with me is honestly like one of the greatest things ever. Like, we support each other so much. Like, he supports me when I'm having a rough day, and then I do the same for him. So like, it's not always like a one-sided thing. Like, it's not always him supporting me. Like, I support him too. Like, we're best friends. So
yeah,
like,
man.
Yeah.
The Red Deer 2019 Canada Winter Games are presented by Nova Chemicals. Plastic is a valuable resource, not to be discarded. Put it to better use. Kindly recycle while enjoying the games. By MNP, proud supporter of the 2019 Canada Winter Games. By Navigator, when you can't afford to lose. By the City of Red Deer, it's in the spirit of sport. It's here. It's Red Deer. By the Look Company, building sport and event environments that are always engaging. The proud branding partner of the 2019 Canada Games.
Canada's #1 trade deadline show comes your way Monday. James Duthie, Bob McKenzie, Darren Dreger, and Pierre LeBrun bring you comprehensive coverage of every story and trade from every angle and platform. Tune in for all-day coverage at Trade Center beginning at 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Pacific across the TSN network. Saskatchewan hoping to bounce back after falling to New Brunswick with the call. Let's go to Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick.
A look inside the Gary W. Harris Canada Game Center as we get set for wheelchair basketball action here on TSN. Saskatchewan taking on Quebec as round-robin action continues and actually gets set to wrap up. Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick with you. We get a look at Team Quebec, and Coach Palmer's got to be very happy with how his team has performed so far in the event, Tim.
Well, he'll be a lot happier if they can win this game and guarantee themselves a shot at their 5th gold medal. They came second in last year's junior championship, so he's got his work cut out for him.
And Team Saskatchewan on the other side, a lot on the line here. They are 1-1. Katie Miyazaki, the head coach here, her team needs a win to have a shot at the next round.
Absolutely, this is a must-win situation for Team Saskatchewan. Miyazaki's done a great job, though, with the squad over the last 4 years preparing for this. Saskatchewan on the rise. They've been medalists the last 3 Canada Games.
Jared Satos in here for the tap-off to start this game for Saskatchewan. One of the guys we talked about so far, 23 years old, his last crack here at a Canada Games.
That's right, both he and Ben Palmer, who he is up against there in their last Canada Games, they're superstars for their respective teams.
So this is Benjamin Palmer, and Quebec will have the first possession of the game. And a shot from outside, and that one put home. A nice start for Quebec.
Excellent start there by Colin Lalonde. His sister, Rosalie, plays on the women's national team, so good pedigree.
Ostapchuk for Team Saskatchewan at the top of the key. Watch closely there. Moves over to the right, nowhere to go. A little bit of room here from the elbow, and he'll take that shot off the window and in, so Saskatchewan answers right back.
Well, he's the spark plug for Team Saskatchewan, and he's got to score if they're going to be successful.
Alone will move it up the court to Berube. Berube at the top of the key to Lalonde in the corner. Pass all the way across here to Palmer. Palmer defended well, kicks it back up top. Now a return feed to Palmer, a deep 2, and that one, nothing but net. So Quebec's offense rolling here early, Tim.
That's right, and it's great when your big scorers can score their first shots.
Shelby Harrower back up the floor for Saskatchewan, gets a little bit of help, wanted to dump it off. Now far side, and that shot a little bit short, bounces down and rebounded there by Woody Belfort. Palmer brings it back up the floor for Quebec. Watch closely there, spins back up top. Cross-court feed to Colin Lalonde. Another look there, and that one, wow, perfect as well. And Quebec firing on all cylinders here early.
Well, Quebec with a great start, and you know, when you're a coach, I know talking to Nick last December before the test event, he was really excited about his new team. He's only got a couple returning players.
Ostapchuk answers back off the glass. And it is 6-4 Quebec. 3 for 3 they are from the field so far in the game, and they have a 2-point cushion. Now dumped underneath. Berube comes up short. That'll be rebounded by Satos, and was looking to fire it down the floor. Ostapchuk had fallen down, and the ball will roll out of bounds. Here's an early look at some work from Colin Lalonde.
Well, Lalonde is a very good outside shooter, but really his strength is on the fast break. So if he's scoring from the outside, you got to be happy if you're Coach Palmer.
Things are going extra well there in the early going for Lalonde, who had 12 points in Quebec's first game, 14 in their second, and already 4 here in the early going of this one. Berube now, just outside the free throw line, dishes it off to Lalonde. 2 for 2. Will it be 3 for 3? No, that one's short, rebounded by Berube. And they're gonna be an offensive foul on Berube. Is that what I'm seeing underneath?
That's what it looked like. She kind of ran into the Saskatchewan defender. The defender was well into the hoop though, so.
What is it for positioning on a charge like that?
You have to cover the path of the attacking player, which is the width of the chair.
Ostapchuk dumps it inside, and that one's off the window and in. Shelby Harrower ties this game at 6 in the first quarter.
The silent assassin, Shelby Harrower.
Lalonde brings it up, dumps it inside. Palmer underneath, that's an easy
2 points there. Quebec, no time wasted moving that ball up the floor.
Oh, absolutely. And Elodie Tessier had Harrower backpicked to create that open space.
Ostapchuk, a ton of room from the free throw line. Ostapchuk a little hard. That's off the back of the rim, rebounded, and now away. This is Lalonde looking for the layup. Tosses it up and in. That's the fast break you were talking about from Colin Lalonde.
That's right. That's his bread and butter, that scoop shot on the break.
6 points here in the early going for Lalonde. Now Harrower, Shelby Harrower, 18-year-old. Watched closely there by Belfort. Now Palmer comes out trying to dump it inside. Nice look to Ostapchuk, and that one off the top of the backboard. Batted back out by Ostapchuk. Harrower now to Satos. Satos. That's going to come up short off the front of the rim and rebounded there by Berube. Now here's Belfort coming the other way as everybody races back up the court defensively. Belfort right to the elbow, turns around and drops it off. That one's going to roll, though, over the court, over the center line, and that'll be a over-back violation.
That's right, a little bit of miscommunication between Belfort and Tessier there. Tessier really is the primary ball handler. He should have gotten that ball to her a little bit earlier.
Ostapchuk inbounds. Here's Harrower. Watch there by Lalonde, dumps it off to Satos inside. A nice look there, and that is put home. Nice communication down low by Team Saskatchewan.
Well, Chantal Scher gets inside, and they need scoring from her as well if they're going to be successful here.
Sandrine Berube finds Benjamin Palmer. Back to Berube, just inside the free throw line, gets a friendly roll, and that'll trickle down. Quebec, once again, up by 4, and a good pace here to the first quarter.
Oh, yes, a lot of offense.
Ostapchuk underneath, that's a nice pass. Harrower fouled on the shot by Benjamin Palmer, and it'll be 2 free throws for Shelby Harrower, who's had 12 points and 9 points in the 2 games so far.
Well, Harrower has been a member of this program in Saskatchewan for quite a few years. Her older sister, Corey, now plays wheelchair rugby. And she's a tremendous player, Shelby Harrower. I'd love to have her on my team if I was a coach.
You talk, and you were a coach. You were a coach for a long time and had a lot of success. For those of you not familiar with Tim, 4 World Championship golds, 3 Paralympic golds as well for Harrower. You were telling me a little bit earlier, a lot of it here is a lot of family and friends is how you get into the sport.
Well, that's right. Her older sister played, and so she took up the sport as well, so great to see that.
Harrower, 1 of 2 from the line. Colin Lalonde will bring it back up the court, drops it off to Berube at the top of the key towards the free throw line. Now a one-handed pass across on the near side. Tessier, baseline shot, and that one rebounded by Scher. And she will move it up the court quickly here to Harrower, who in turn finds Ostapchuk. Satos was driving the lane, and that one's going to be blown down. And we've got a quick start here. Quebec leading 12-9. Lalonde with 6 points, including this 2 on the fast break. .452 remaining here in the opening quarter of action between Saskatchewan and Quebec. It's Quebec off with 12 points early, 6 of them on the combination here of Palmer and Lalonde.
Well, Palmer had 14 assists in their victory over New Brunswick to open the tournament, so not only is he a threat to score, he can distribute the basketball as well.
14 assists. Tell me how impressive is that? Because 14 assists is pretty good at any level of basketball, isn't it?
Well, if I played and I got 3 or 4 assists, I'd be thrilled. You know, to get a double-double and get 10 assists is exciting, but 14 is pretty magnificent.
Saskatchewan trailing by 3. Ostapchuk to inbound, and he'll get it to Shelby Harrower. Harrower took a bump there. Ostapchuk top of the key, tried to feed it down low. A nice read there defensively by Ben Palmer to knock that down, and a little smile to Ostapchuk.
Well, Ostapchuk is in the national team program, and we see Palmer kind of sneaking his hand up there the last second, and they're kind of teammates because Palmer is a black ace and he goes to the National Academy every now and again.
So there's a relationship there between those two. Here's Palmer back after a failed 3-point attempt from Satos. Palmer in the corner, dumps it underneath the hoop. That's picked up. The attempt inside by Lalonde, short now, fast break the other way. Harrower trying to get to this ball. She'll scoop it up underneath the hoop, up off the backboard and in for Saskatchewan to make it a 1-point game.
Well, that's a tough basket. You got a guy like Palmer right in your face. You're a little bit off balance, shooting cross body. Great shot by Harrower.
All right, now a little bit of pressure there from Ostapchuk, and he's drawn a foul on that. Here's a look at the last finish here off the quick pass down the court by Satos.
And that's what we call a hook pass. So as soon as you receive that rebound, you should be looking for that, that long bomb kind of outlet pass. And boy, did that ever work well for Shelby Harrower.
Quebec is going to take a timeout here. Saskatchewan has got some momentum. They just drew a foul as well. Let's head in and take a listen to what the coaches have to say.
Good reads, right? Good job helping each other back, right? That's making the biggest difference for us right now, that we're getting all of this back. Okay? Good job drawing a foul there, team.
Coach Miyazaki talking about how not to get back picked so you get all 5 of your defenders back.
And we'll definitely explain that a little bit as we work our way through our first broadcast. First of two here today from the Canada Game Center. Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick with you. I'd have to think, but the way Quebec's played so far in this event, and you mentioned they're a juggernaut in the sport. Saskatchewan, with how much is on the line, has to be pretty happy with how they've started.
Oh, absolutely. I think the Saskatchewan's quite happy, and again, getting all 5 players back so you don't give up those numbers advantages. And Quebec, of course, probably talking a little bit about how to prevent that fast break, because nothing drives a coach crazy like an easy basket.
Ostapchuk to inbound for Saskatchewan, gets it to Harrower. Watch closely there by Lalonde. Spins back now, dumps it off to Satos. Satos with 5 on the shot clock. Ostapchuk across the Harrower, got to get it off. She does, and it comes up off the front of the rim. Will be controlled, and now brought back up the court here quickly by Palmer, by himself. Wants the shot, he'll take the shot, and he hits the shot as well to restore a 3-point lead.
Well, Chantel Scher didn't really put too much pressure on Palmer. She had good chair position, but she could have had a hand in the air to at least make him think about it.
6 points for Palmer here in the early going. Ostapchuk trying to move it down low into the corner. A foul here against Palmer, and Palmer kind of shaking his hands. Did not agree. Here's a look at Palmer's latest work on the fast break.
You can see Scher's got excellent chair position. She's got her axle to the caster there. Gets a hand up, but then pulls it down, and Palmer has an uncontested shot, basically.
Had the hand in the face momentarily. The moment it came down, Palmer got that shot off.
Palmer picks up his 2nd foul, Dustin, and that's got to get Coach Nick Palmer a little bit concerned.
Ostapchuk to the line, as I believe they're in bonus here right now. 0 for 1 for Ostapchuk on the first attempt. Bonus is 5 in the quarter.
That's correct. On the 5th foul, you shoot.
And that's what we've got going on here with Garrett Ostapchuk. And he hits the 2nd to make it a 2-point game. Palmer to inbound for Quebec.
Interestingly, no fouls committed yet by Team Saskatchewan. That's pretty impressive.
Lalonde from just outside the free throw line off the back of the rim. Rebound right into the arms there of Scher, who moves it ahead. Satos to Scher with some room here. Will wait for help. Now a wide open lane to the rim, and a little too hard on the layup. Ostapchuk with the rebound, and that one too hard as well. Palmer fouled there, I believe, by Chantel Scher.
Well, Scher did a great job of driving to the hoop on that one. She had Satos open on the far side, and Ostapchuk coming down the middle, just a little bit too exuberant.
The battle for position in the middle of the court there was pretty interesting, as I believe there was 8 athletes there battling for position, and that's huge as you're trying to work your way up the court, isn't it?
Well, anytime you can get a numbers advantage on offense, it's got to help, and we see right there another attempt.
Ostapchuk picking up the foul. That's his first personal.
Sometimes you're going to get a foul because you're just a little bit out of control. And he's a tough little player. Plays with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. Really a pesky kind of pain in the side for anyone out there on the court.
Very quick as well.
He's extremely quick, and he will pick up the occasional foul from over-exuberance.
That's Ostapchuk, number 8 for Saskatchewan, 18-year-old. Lalonde kicks it out here to Palmer. Palmer back to Lalonde from the elbow. He'll take it, and that one in and out. And the rebound will be played quickly up the court. And now control here, dropped off to Harrower. Harrower took a bump, but got it up off the glass and in. So Cher and Harrower connecting on that layup.
Well, Jaguar didn't put up much of a fight on defense, and Harrower just took it right to the hole.
7 points for Harrower here in the early going. Just over 2 minutes remaining in first quarter of action, and we are tied at 14. Palmer, a little drop-off feed there. Palmer right into the key. Couple of fakes, takes it, and puts it home. So another big start here for Ben Palmer in this game.
That's right, and Satos with a tilt kind of pushed Palmer's chair back a little bit, so it allowed the fadeaway and another uncontested look.
Ostapchuk, watched by Lalonde, decides to take it back up to the top. Maybe a little bit of a reset. Now quick drive down the lane, and the attempt missed. They're going to throw it up the court. And this is Tessier, right-handed layup, and that one will go for Quebec.
Well, that's Tessier's bread and butter. She's a member of our senior women's national team, played over in the World Championships in Hamburg last summer.
Ostapchuk back. Just outside the free throw line, watch there, kicks it off. Satos will take it, baseline a little bit too hard, but that rebound will be picked up by Chantel Cher. Just 2 to shoot. Ostapchuk underneath, got it off. But that was in a tough spot there with the shot clock winding down.
The shot clock winding down, and he's kind of had a bad angle towards the hoop, and the pass was a tad high, but great opportunity for Saskatchewan.
Less than a minute remaining here in the opening quarter. Quebec has had multiple leads in this game. They do have one right now, 18-14. We were tied at 14, but a 4-0 run here for Quebec. A lot of it from Palmer. Palmer now baseline, spins back, dumps it off underneath. Lalonde up off the glass and in. That was executed nicely.
That was a beautiful pick and roll by Palmer and Jaguar, or by Palmer and Lalonde, I should say, but Jaguar almost came in and ruined it for them.
Cher trying to dump it underneath. Harrower picks it up nicely, fouled on the shot attempts by Jaguar, and Harrower will go back to the line here for second set of free throws, and Harrower connected a little bit earlier on here in the quarter on a nice feed from Cher.
Well, the female athlete at the Canada Winter Games is an interesting concept. They started it back in the original games, allowing the team to put an extra point on the floor if you have a female on the court. And of course, the value of that has been obvious as the percentage of female athletes here at the games has been steadily increasing.
Second one is good from Harrower. 29 seconds remaining here, 24-second shot clock, so a little bit of a differential between the two. Lalonde will bring it up the court. A little bit of room at the top of the key. Hesitates now. Defended well there by Harrower. A couple of times knocking it away. Second time a foul, and Harrower does not like the call.
Well, she definitely was aggressive on defense, and you know, there's two kinds of mismatches in wheelchair basketball. One is speed and agility, and the other one is height. And Harrower that time using her height to reach across and knock that ball away from the wall.
Shot clock reset here to 14. Now, Palmer tried to go underneath. That is stolen cleanly by Satos. They'll move it ahead. Just 5 seconds left in the quarter. Ostapchuk from the free throw line at the buzzer, and that one off the front of the rim would have made it a 3-point game. Instead, it is Quebec with a lead. They have hit 20, and a lot of it has been Benjamin Palmer. He's been terrific so far. Quebec leading Saskatchewan 2015 in round robin action here. Wheelchair basketball in the 2019 Canada Games. Welcome back to the Canada Games Center in red gear. Saskatchewan trailing by 5 right now, but an excellent start here in the game for Shelby Harrower, Tim.
Well, the player I call the silent assassin, shooting 3 for 4. She's got 8 points, including the foul shots. And boy, she's really stepping up, because Jared Satos, the #1 threat, has yet to score.
Yeah, Satos is 0 for 3 from the field. So if you were to tell me that at the beginning, if Satos would have no points and only be down 5 in the first quarter, they'd probably take it.
Oh, yes.
Now here is Santos. Maybe changes this, dumps it off. Nice feed inside, but Cher a little too hard up over top of the hoop. And it'll be scooped up, and Palmer will bring it back the other way. Here's Palmer, has numbers right now. Palmer trying to take advantage of it, finds Lalonde underneath the hoop, off the glass, and in for Lalonde. So that dynamic duel continues to roll here for Quebec.
And Quebec doing a great job of back-picking Santos. He's one of their big defenders down there, giving Lalonde the opportunity.
Harrower. It's a little bit of room created, now dumps it off. Nice look there, off the glass, and the rebound comes down. And I think Chantel Cher would like another look at that one.
Yeah, she's doing a great job of getting open shots, though.
Here's Palmer, takes it to the elbow. Watched closely. Has Lalonde following up, was behind the play, couldn't control the pass, and that will roll out of bounds. Cher will let it go as Quebec continues to move the ball quickly up the floor in the hands of Benjamin Palmer.
Yeah, well, Palmer is able to dribble and push his chair at the same time and finds Lalonde open on the far side.
Ostapchuk, open look underneath as things spread apart in the lane, and Ostapchuk able to take advantage of that one. He was 2 for 7 in the first quarter. Palmer now, couple of head fakes, and has the ball knocked away, will remain in possession of Quebec.
Well, you know, sometimes when you get called for a foul and reaching in like Shelby did earlier, you kind of get gun shy, but she reached right in there on the #1 player in the, possibly in the tournament. and dumped him.
No hesitation defensively there from Harrower. Now up top to Palmer. Palmer watched closely, gives it back to Lalonde. A lot of time, an open shot, no good. Rebound will come down to Santos, who's been cleaning up on the boards here so far in this game. Ostapchuk back. Harrower trying to get some room underneath. Ostapchuk's gonna spin, has a wide open look from about 14 feet. Puts it home this time, so back-to-back buckets here from Garrett Ostapchuk, and all of a sudden, he's got 9 points.
And Harrower with a great little screen to allow him to roll in uncontested.
Palmer getting a screen of his own, a little pick and roll, and that's gonna be dumped underneath for Tessier, and tough to defend when it's set up that well.
Well, you gotta, the only way to defend it really, because you gotta jump the shooter, Palmer, is to bring some help over from the other side, usually from the elbow or the point.
Ostapchuk underneath, took a foul and a nasty spill. He'll go to the line, but here's that pick and roll execution at the other end by Quebec.
And you can see no help coming, or the help comes, but it's kind of late. And Tessier with a nice quick shot.
Here's another look at the foul. And you know what? I like the aggressiveness from Ostapchuk so far here in the second quarter.
And I think Berube thought she might have had a chance to get in front of him there, and then she realized that he was going too quickly for her, so she pulled back, but not in time.
Ostapchuk to the line here. Was 1 of 2 in the first quarter, free throw line. And this one off the back of the rim and out. He'll roll back and reset here. Excellent start here in the second quarter for Ostapchuk. That one off the front rim. And the rebound scooped up, brought back up the court by Palmer. Palmer now takes it down low towards the baseline, spins back and finds himself wide open. Why not? He's going to take that shot. Rebound up for grabs. Ostapchuk, the hook pass up the court. Harrower trying to track this ball down. Can't get there in time, but a heck of an effort.
Well, a good effort, and most of the time when we're telling players to fast break, we tell them to get a little bit wider on the court.
Okay.
That way you can go onto the ball as the pass comes up the middle. It's a little bit easier to see and a little bit easier to reel in.
A little bit of an angle.
Yeah, the Hail Mary over the head is a tough one.
Jacob Barreau kicks this off to Palmer. Palmer, baseline from about 8 feet. That one can't get the shooter's roll, and it's going to bounce out off the hand of Santos. So in a game like this, we have used Santos and Palmer. How much are those guys going to play in this game? Are they going to be out there almost the whole time? Or?
Yeah, we're not going to see them sitting unless there's something serious happens, like foul trouble, and even then, they'll probably ride them as far as they can.
Yeah. And Palmer, I think, had 2 fouls in the first quarter. Something to keep an eye on here. Underneath that shot up, no good. It's going to be batted away. Woody Belfort's able to track it down before it ends up at the center line, gives it to Palmer, wide open underneath. That one too hard out of the hands there of Jacob Barreau.
I think she was surprised to be so wide open.
We've got a foul as the ball was moved up the court, and the guilty party, Alex Bougie. Bougie, who just checked into the game, I believe. First we've seen of him.
He's a big body in there, and he's been down working a power side with Palmer a couple times on that left-hand side.
Harrower will bring it ahead. A little bit of room now for Harrower. Dumps it underneath. Nice look to Santos, and he'll finish it off.
If you're going to get your first basket, you might as well get an easy one.
Maybe that gets him going.
That's usually what happens.
Here's Palmer back the other way. He'll look to respond. Kicks it up top. Barreau dishes it off. And that shot. A nice one there from Tessier.
Well, normally you wouldn't go out on the shooter because she's a little bit shorter, but once she starts to hit, then you got to pressure her.
Ostapchuk. Watch closely there. We've got a foul underneath the hoop.
There's a number of, quite a few officials blowing their whistle on that one, so they've had a discussion.
Two of the three officials definitely got it. I believe they're going to have a little bit of a chat here.
It looked like a technical foul against Jared Santos. When you go crashing and the wheelchairs sort of collide, and all of a sudden you lose your balance and you tip up. Some of the Class 4-5 and Class 4 players that can use a leg will stick their foot out and try to right themselves. But unfortunately, that's a physical advantage. So,
and that's the technical foul. That's what we've just been drawn.
Foul,
okay.
Yeah.
So one shot, but not possession. As Saskatchewan have possession.
Wait a minute. Maybe it was on Alex Bougie. He's also number 11.
Well, Palmer had the shot. Santos dumps it off underneath. Ooh, and that's in and out for Shelby Harrower. And Palmer's going to bring it back. A little bit of room on the far side of the court, but he'll slow things down. Now dumps it off underneath. A nice look there. That one's up and no good. We do have a whistle underneath the hoop. It was Tessier who had the look at it, and she is down right now.
Well, she was a little bit off balance when she took that shot, ran into Cher. And when a player goes down in the key, if there's a potential for injury, the referees will blow the whistle right away, and that'll be called, I think, a jump ball because no one had possession.
Both teams will have an opportunity to quickly whip into their huddle here, have a discussion. Quebec leading 26-21, 5:42 remaining in the second quarter. And Saskatchewan have definitely been able to hang around so far here with Quebec.
Well, they have been. They've done a great job of countering Quebec's strengths, which of course are Ben Palmer, Elodie Tessier, Colin Lalonde has been silent of late. And back the other end, Saskatchewan's done a fabulous job of getting open shots. They got to start knocking them down, though.
Yeah, they have missed a few pretty good looks under the hoop. As a look at Quebec.
Well, Nick Palmer, his day job is a data analyst, and man, he showed me some of his stuff that he analyzed through the World Championships this year as assistant coach with Team Canada Men. And boy, you can bet he's got Saskatchewan figured out.
I was going to say, how much of that is involved in the sport of wheelchair basketball? Right?
Oh, a ton. I mean,
really?
You know, any sport, any team sport, you think about it, tendencies and patterns, really tell the tale. And
can it give a huge advantage, too?
And you get a big advantage by anticipating what the other team is doing or going to do.
Quebec to inbound here from the baseline. 5:42 remaining, second quarter. This is Ben Palmer. Palmer looking underneath, maybe for Belfort. Couldn't find him the first time. Has to reset. 5 on the shot clock. Dumps it off up top. Barreau with the shot, a little too hard. Rebounded by Santos. He'll throw it ahead. Ostapchuk. Look at the speed here. Lost the handle though. And okay, that's what we were talking about with the technical foul.
That is, and that is a quite a blow to Team Quebec because that'll be Ben Palmer's third, I believe.
Ostapchuk will shoot the shot for the technical.
So it's one shot and the ball, depending on who had possession.
Okay. which is what we saw in that last possession because Saskatchewan had it. There was one shot for Palmer, and then they have possession. So Ostapchuk misses a little bit too hard there, but Saskatchewan will maintain possession. 3 fouls, though, like you mentioned on Palmer. That's something to watch. We're still in the first half.
Well, and that one was kind of inadvertent, too, because he probably should have just taken the tumble and avoided the foul call.
Harrower waits underneath, was looking for help, didn't get it, so she'll take the shot, rebounded by Palmer, and he'll fly up court the other way. They've got numbers here, a 3-on-2. Palmer, he's gonna keep it, rolls right underneath, and that one rebounded nicely. They'll get it back to Palmer, a second crack at it. That one no good, off the side of the backboard, and Satos will hang on to that one, moves it ahead to Ostapchuk. Back to Satos. Quiet game so far. Satos from downtown gets the roll. It's going to be a deep 2. That is from just inside the three-point line.
And he rattled that one home, and he is a three-point shooter, Jared Satos.
Are there many of them?
Each team has 2 or 3.
Yeah, okay. Now here's Tessier. Tessier kicks it off to Palmer. Palmer, pretty deep 2. Tried to use the glass, no good. Satos able to grab the rebound. And we'll dump it off here for Harrower. And Saskatchewan trails Quebec 26-23. Satos getting a shooter's roll here from just inside the three-point line. His team trailing Quebec 26-23 in the second quarter. We're back at the Canada Games Center in Red Deer and a look at Kaylin Hoffmuller, and she has a very interesting story, Tim.
Well, she is. She's a key player on this team as a 1.5 female. With her, Team Saskatchewan really a medal threat, perhaps even for the gold. Without her, they've had to adjust their lineups a little bit, but it's great to see her be able to come and support the team here in Red Deer.
Now it'll be controlled, back underway, dumped underneath. Ostapchuk wanted to go up. We're not going to count it. Almost was a three-point play, but he will get the 2 shots. And he'll head back to the line. He's been a pace setter here for Saskatchewan in the second quarter.
Nice little dump pass over the top. He's whacked by Lalonde and still gets a shot away. You know, if you're in the act of shooting, in my opinion as a coach, nobody buys a ticket to watch defense. They want to see offense, and so they should let them, continuation happen.
Says he's too strong. He'll take his second one here after coming up a little bit deep on the first. Ostapchuk, this time a little short. Ball up for grabs. Harrower can't come up with it as Berube will take over and throws it ahead to Colin Lalonde. Lalonde, dangerous in fast break situations, finds the trailer. Berube, nice little fake, and she'll keep it and put it home off the glass.
Well, Ostapchuk gambled on that one, and Berube kept her cool, faked, and went around him on the left side.
Underneath, a little too high, out of the reach of Shelby Harrower. Here's Berube, another look at the ball fake coming down the lane.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's a nice one.
That's what we call the underducky.
Lalonde will bring it back, drops it off for Berube. Gets the elbow, kicks it out to Belfort. Belfort wants the shot, takes it a little bit too hard. Rebound comes down to Shelby Harrower. Harrower throws it ahead. Ostapchuk finds Cher. Cher's gonna turn. Ostapchuk's gonna drive towards the hoop, but a nice steal there from Belfort and a foul by, I believe, Chantel Cher.
Well, that's what it looked like. And of course, nobody's telling her that Woody Belfort is sneaking in the back behind her to steal that. And of course, you get a little bit frustrated, try to get that ball back, and then end up taking the foul yourself.
And now Saskatchewan's going to call a timeout, try to reset things here a little bit. Katie Miyazaki, their head coach. Let's take a listen. Quebec on the other side coming in here undefeated so far. I think Palmer just wants to keep everybody probably calm at this time.
Well, the momentum, even though the score is still 5 points, the momentum clearly in Quebec's favor. So you don't want to screw that up when you're a coach. So Palmer trying to keep them focused. On the other side, you got to stop that momentum and create some of your own, is what Miyazaki's trying to do.
Nice look at the crowd here. Obviously a pro Team Saskatchewan crowd. Excellent getup as well.
I think I saw those same fans at the CFL games this summer.
Looks like a bunch of Rider fans, you're right. Lalonde now will move it ahead. Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick with you here at the Canada Game Center. Wheelchair basketball as they get close to wrapping up the round robin. An excellent facility built here in Red Deer for the event, and the rebound will come down and be taken away, and now they'll bring it back up the floor. Ostapchuk cuts it back. Wanted it and shook off the man down low. Now he's going to take one off the glass. A little bit too hard. It'll be rebounded there by Bougie. As we see Palmer getting a rest here now with 3 fouls. They're going to buy him a little bit of time with 2.5 minutes left. As a coach, what do you think of that decision?
Well, it's a great idea because sometimes, you know, the refs have your number and you don't want to go into that half with 4 fouls, that's for sure.
Lalonde. Too hard back rim, that's rebounded and put right back up, also too hard. And now a loose ball, and that will be scooped up there by Nabi. And it will be Saskatchewan ball, Satos to inbound.
Well, Ekram Nabi, a veteran player for Team Saskatchewan. He's got a couple of medals to his credit from the Canada Winter Games, hoping to finish his career with a gold. But to do that, they've got to win here today.
23-year-old, now they'll give it to Satos, also 23. Somewhat of a quiet first half. No problem there, though, as he goes off the glass and in to make it a 3-point contest. And now we see a little bit of pressure here from Saskatchewan. Something obviously cooked up in the last time out.
Yeah, as soon as you see Palmer out of the game, it's a no-brainer.
Lalonde now handling the pressure, no problem. Just inside the free throw line, gets a roll, and that will go down. Lalonde still capable of making it pay.
Well, he's really proven his worth to this Quebec team. Especially last year at Junior Nationals, he was a star for them, and he's picking up the slack for Palmer.
Harrower just inside the three-point line. She'll take it. Can't get the bounce as it goes off the rim, off the backboard, and out.
Not able to close the gap. Saskatchewan, they've got to get on a run here while Palmer's out of the game.
Lalonde, just over a minute remaining here in the first half, drops it off, thrown underneath. And that one's going to be stolen away by Brady Arthurs. Now Nabi has Ostapchuk to his right. Nabi gets to the free throw line, has a man wide open underneath. It's going to actually be tipped back up off the glass and in. Shelby Harrower, she's having herself a first half.
That's right, and I bet you if she looks in her gym bag after the game, she'll find a gold watch.
There's a steal. Ostapchuk puts it up, and it's a 1-point game. Saskatchewan taking advantage of Ben Palmer getting a rest with 3 fouls.
That full court pressure paying off for Saskatchewan.
Tessier gets center court. Cuts it back to the middle here with 20 seconds remaining, but 15 on the shot clock. Dishes it off to Berube, back up top to Tessier. Lalonde now, will he shoot it? He does. That one no good. 8 seconds left. Ostapchuk down the court. Can he corral it? He does. And a layup at the buzzer. It will go, and Saskatchewan storms back late in the second quarter to have a lead, and that is a huge momentum boost for Saskatchewan late in the first half, Tim.
Well, you know, you talk about the most important parts of the game, the end of every quarter, and that time Quebec mismanaged the ball. They took that shot with 9 seconds. They still had plenty of time on the shot clock. They should have waited a little bit longer, and they may have gotten out of that half with the lead.
Saskatchewan needs a win here to advance to the next round in wheelchair basketball, and an excellent push at the end of the first half has given them somewhat of a surprising 31-30 lead over Quebec at the Canada Game Center in Red Deer.
The Red Deer 2019 Canada Winter Games are presented by Nova Chemicals. Nova invests heavily in communities where we live and work. Sustainability is a team effort. Thank you for letting us be a part of the team. By Shaw, the official telecommunications provider of the Canada Games. By Winmar Restoration, offering complete residential and commercial property restoration services with 24-hour emergency service and a response time that can't be beat. By Nosac Food Group, serving Central Alberta for over 36 years. And by ATB. ATB is proud of you, Alberta, and proud to support the 2019 Canada Winter Games.
Well, Saskatchewan leading Quebec by 2 points as we welcome you inside our halftime coverage. When it comes to Elizabeth Welsh, at the age of 6, she said she went to a neurologist with chronic headaches. Now, the doctor told her about ringette and that smart girls play the sport. Glad she listened because she found a passion in ringette as well as some pretty strong relationships. Paul Hollingsworth explains.
The story behind this friendship goes back 8 years. Elizabeth Welsh can remember it like it was yesterday.
Watching Canada Games 2011 that were hosted in Halifax.
At the time, Welsh from Bedford, Nova Scotia, was a 12-year-old ringette player watching Team Alberta play. Brianna Beck was the starting goalie, one of the best in the country at her position.
I was sitting in the stands watching an Alberta game near Bree's mom, and she invited me to sit on the blanket that she had because apparently I looked cold.
A connection was made, and the two sat together for the rest of the Canada Games. Welsh followed every play, and within days, she had discovered her idol. She wanted to be just like Brianna Beck when she grew up.
She's definitely one of my inspirations. Just watching someone play that level and that speed and hoping that I could do that one day was phenomenal.
When the 2011 games ended and Beck returned to Alberta, she wanted to try and stay in touch. She was flattered by the support.
To have someone look up to you when you're new to the elite level was extra special.
Her mother called the Ringette Association back in Nova Scotia, looking to track Welsh down.
And said, hey, I sat next to this little girl named Lizzie. Her brother goes to the University of New Brunswick. Her mom is helping her coach. She plays on one of your U12 teams. Do you think you can help me out? I know that there's probably some privacy issues, but we're trying to track this down. My daughter played on Team Alberta and would like to send her a note.
They connected, and through Facebook, a long-distance relationship was formed.
I sent her a card thanking you for coming out and supporting us.
Fast forward 8 years. Welsh made the Nova Scotia Canada Games ringette team as a goalie, and she was traveling to, of all places, Alberta. When Beck found out, she knew it was her turn to sit in the cold stands and cheer on her friend.
I was coming to this game for sure.
Beck says she'll cheer for Alberta and Nova Scotia and for Welsh.
I can cheer for an individual, for sure.
But coming from someone who's already reached this level, Beck also has a message. The Canada Games is a life-defining experience. It's not just about wins and losses.
Enjoy every moment of it. It goes by incredibly fast, but just take a moment and realize how much work went into your preparation to get here and enjoy every moment you're on the ice.
It all goes by so fast, and so does 8 years. But friendships last forever. Paul Hollingsworth, TSN.
When we return, we learn more about BC boxer Jonathan Hanna. And coverage of the Canada Winter Games continues tomorrow with the boxing finals. Coverage starts 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific on TSN3. And one of the Havering favorites, BC's Jonathan Hanna. He sat down with Paul Hollingsworth.
BC's Jonathan Hanna packs the heaviest of heavy punches. In the ring, it's his defining attribute.
Ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to be really good at something.
Hanna is better than good. He's a medal favorite in Red Deer. He came here to win, and he spent several years preparing for this moment.
He pulls something out from inside him that I haven't seen in a lot of athletes.
And just like a multi-sport athlete, Hanna has also found a niche away from boxing.
He's kind, He's compassionate. He works with kids.
He's a young man who not only pushes himself to be a good boxer, but also a good person.
Mostly because of my faith. Like, I'm a Christian, so it's like important to go and help others.
In 2016, Hanna, through his church, traveled to Mexico to help those less fortunate. When he arrived, he got busy. He went to work, helping to improve living conditions.
Just help build some new buildings and a few things for them.
He came away from the experience more aware of the suffering felt by others.
People complain about like not getting their iPad, right? And it's like, oh, the world's gonna end. And then those kids grow up maybe not eating every day, and you're just like, hey, they survive and they live and they go through life, and they're just fortunate and happy to get 3 meals a day.
Last year, Hanna went back to Mexico with his fellow boxers from Griffin's Boxing and Fitness in North Vancouver.
Come on, baby. Come on, work.
And once again, he found time to help the people living in the local community.
Just helping people in general, just daily basis, being kind, helping out people, just normal acts of kindness. It's kind of just what you're called to do as a Christian.
His experiences in Mexico have changed him. They've given him perspective.
The hard work and dedication definitely is something that translates to a lot of things I do.
Hanna says he's more focused than ever and better prepared for the challenges in the ring and in life as he continues his developmental path as a boxer.
Saskatchewan hoping to extend their lead over Quebec. Second half action coming your way next on TSN.
Welcome back. Second half of action on the way from the Gary W. Harris Canada Games Center and Quebec. There's a look at their leading scorer, Colin Lalonde, 6 of 13 from the field, 12 points, and really everybody contributing offensively for Quebec in that first half.
Well, exactly, and you know, when your top scorer is held in check, the secondary scoring has got to come through, and Quebec's second, third, and fourth threats have all scored, and great job by the Quebec team, I guess, to be a team.
And a good job late in that half, a 6-0 run, highlighted by that basket there from Garrett Ostapchuk, who was excellent in the first half, 13 points. He is your game leader. Should note there that Benjamin Palmer, 8 points. He had to go to the bench at the end of the close to the end of the second quarter with 3 fouls. So that foul trouble for Palmer, definitely a storyline here, Tim, in the second half of this basketball game.
Well, absolutely. As soon as Coach Miyazaki saw that, she put on the press. Next thing you know, nice little run for Saskatchewan.
He's Tim Frick. I am Dustin Nielsen. We are underway, and Saskatchewan grows their lead. It's an 8-0 run. Satos underneath. Satos now with 8 points here. We were talking about him as well, both him and Benjamin Palmer on pace here for runs at triple doubles in this game. Here's Lalonde. Works at baseline. Dumps it underneath, up, and a foul there on the attempt from Woody Belfort. And he is going to go to the line for a couple of shots.
Belfort does a nice little pick and roll. He slips the pick. He had a bit of a bad angle, though, so I think if I was Satos, I would have kind of held back a little bit on
Just
that.
let him take that shot. Satos with the foul, got a piece of the hand. Belfort, first 2. Little too hot. Another crack at it here.
The rule is on the free throw, you have to have your big wheels behind the foul line.
Okay.
And of course on the three-point shot, it's the same rule. Your little wheels can cross, but big wheels have to be behind when you release the ball.
Rebound by Shelby Harrower. She's going to take the return feed now. Cuts to the middle. Takes the shot. That's off the front of the rim and rebounded by Palmer.
A gutsy move by Harrower to go one-on-one against Palmer.
Palmer back in the game, playing with 3 fouls. Dumps it off underneath. Lalonde shot. That one won't go. And the rebound comes down to Chantel Scher. Sask right now going up against Palmer, who does have 3 fouls. You coached a lot of successful teams, Tim.
Well,
how do you attack him with 3 fouls?
Well, obviously Harrower knew that. That's why she went after him one-on-one. You can pick up that 4th foul. Coach Nick Palmer will have to take him out for a rest.
Saw Palmer there kind of get a hand out, but nowhere near any sort of contact there. So
he's going to back right down.
He will bring it back up the other way. Dumps it out, so maybe a chance to be aggressive here where you regularly wouldn't attack Palmer, who takes the feed, dumps it underneath. Berube up. Berube no good. Rebound to Berube as well. That looked like it was blocked. And Santos will grab it.
What a tilt by Santos. He went up on one wheel on the side. Grabbed that rebound.
Here is Harrower. And the foul will be drawn. And that will go against Tessier. Here is Santos underneath the rim. Oh, good job being up on one wheel.
Tilt. I mean, he added an extra 6 inches to his reach there.
Harrower, he was excellent in the first half, 10 points. Has the ball again. Her team with a 3-point lead, dumps it off underneath just as the shot clock was counting down. And that was Ostapchuk underneath, who then defensively got tied up. This is going to create some numbers the other way for Quebec. Lalonde, baseline, runs out of room. Ostapchuk just back up and now will be hustling back into play. Palmer wide open, he'll take the shot, makes the shot as well. And Quebec with their first points of the first half. Took 2.5 minutes to get them.
Palmer had Tessier wide open, but you could just tell the look in his eyes. He was shooting that one.
Ostapchuk dumps it off to Harrower. Harrower has some room here. Has a lot of time. She'll take the shot in and out. And that one bobble around and bounced out. Berube able to scoop it up. Tosses it ahead for Lalonde. Lalonde with some good speed here. Takes it all the way in. Took a bump, drew the foul on Chantel Scher. And it'll go to the line. Here's Ostapchuk's last look underneath.
Boy, he was in a crowd and just that little reverse scoop shot. And of course he gets stuck between 3 Quebec defenders and eventually goes down.
And not by mistake there from those defenders keeping Ostapchuk behind the play.
Looks like he was doing breakdancing there for a minute.
Lalonde unable to take advantage of the first free throw. Second one coming. Quebec trailing 35-32. Saskatchewan needs a win to stay alive. Santos brings it ahead. Take the three. Santos in and out. Had a deep 2 in the first half. That one looked like it might go down.
He's a good shooter, young Jared Santos. Old for this group, but young in general. He's going to have a great career ahead of him.
Lalonde on the fast break. No hesitation. Takes it in, lays it up, makes it a 1-point game. We had only 2 lead changes in the entire first half. Underneath, Harrower wide open. Nice feed from Santos.
Yeah, I'd like to see the replay on that and figure out how she got in like a hot knife through butter.
Wide open underneath. We haven't seen many looks that good so far in this game. Now here's Palmer back. Ostapchuk slows him down. Palmer, Santos now gets around him. Palmer underneath with the drive to the hoop. And a nice finish on the layup. Palmer, a man on a mission there.
Yeah, Santos, I should say, went for the block shot. Palmer recognized that and just went right around him.
39-34, Saskatchewan. A 5-point lead, dumped underneath. Harrower comes up with it. Berube falls. Okay. All right. 37-36. They had tossed the 2 points on Saskatchewan's side. So it is a 1-point lead for Saskatchewan.
And in wheelchair basketball, if you fall out of your chair and sort of land on someone, it's pretty well an automatic foul.
Okay. Which is what we just saw.
Which is what happened to Sandrine Berube there. She's had a bit of international experience, played with Team Canada Women at World Championships, coached by Marc-Antoine Ducharme, our colleagues over at RDS.
And she'll come and out for a breather here. Woody Belfort also checking out of the game. As Harrower set to inbound in the offensive zone here from the baseline. Dumps it underneath. Santos up, no good. Rebound there, Santos again, and 1. Santos, excellent work on the offensive boards.
And there's that athleticism of Jared Santos going up on one wheel again, tilting, getting his own rebound, and putting it back. And Palmer back there, very lucky not to pick up another foul.
From the line, Santos, nice looking shot. Sato's getting going here in the second half.
And Saskatchewan will need that because they need a big point differential if they're to qualify for the playoff round.
Here's Lalonde. Lalonde dumps it underneath. And that one, a lot of room there for Bougie. And he puts it home.
Nice use of the backboard by Bougie there to drop that one in.
Now brought ahead, Ostapchuk. A ton of time, they're not gonna pressure him. He'll take the shot. Rebound came back through his arms. And now there's gonna be a race for it. Satos, look at the hustle here. Bodies flailing all over the place. And there'd be a foul on the play. Excellent hustle there from Ben Palmer and Jared Satos.
Well, Palmer showing incredible speed. Satos was ahead of him. Palmer gets in front, gets the ball, and gets the foul call. And that's a big one against Satos because that'll be number 3 for him.
So 3 for Satos, 3 on Palmer as well. Palmer at the line. His team down 40-38 with just over 5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Off the back rim. And have a chance to make it a 1-point game. And that one rolls around and drops down. So we've got a 1-point game here. Saskatchewan leading Quebec 40-39. Ostapchuk with some speed. Forced back, turns, dumps it underneath. Satos picks it up with one hand. Little scoop layup underneath. No good. Rebound off the fingertip of Ben Palmer, and Saskatchewan will maintain possession.
Yeah, Satos in a bit of a tough position there. Tried some English on the ball, and it almost went in.
I was going to say, he almost got it to go. Now Herwer dumps it underneath. Nice look there. Satos trying to spin it up and under. Not going to work. And now Palmer, look at Palmer using the angle there to make sure Satos couldn't get to him. Drops it off, back to Palmer. And a nice finish, what a feed from Tessier to Palmer, and Quebec retakes the lead.
What a great dish from LED Tessier. Outstanding pass.
Ostapchuk. The elbow now along the line, spins back, drops it off. Satos underneath. A bit of a finger roll there, that didn't work. Now thrown ahead, Ostapchuk. Good job hustling back to break it up, gets it right back to Herwer. Now Satos on Palmer, stripped from behind. Nice job defensively there from Bougie.
Well, great aggression by both teams here. This is a really fast-paced, high-intensity matchup.
Back and forth here in round-robin action. Palmer now trying to work his way down, drops it off underneath. Bougie, a wide-open look, no good. Rebound again, look at the length here of Bougie. That rebound easily into his outreached arms.
Well, it's really hard to coach height, and that's one thing that Bougie has.
Saskatchewan will take a timeout as Quebec has regained the momentum. Palmer hooking up with Tessier on a nice little give and go. Quebec leads 43-40. Welcome back to Red Deer and a look inside the Gary W. Harris Canada Game Center, the gym here. An excellent facility. This is obviously going to be a legacy building for these games on the campus of Red Deer College, but for this event right now, this is as good as it gets, doesn't it?
This is a spectacular facility. Gary Harris, a local businessman and philanthropist. And, you know, the old Red Deer College gym, where I coached in 1980, I think, volleyball. Boy, oh boy, what a difference. This is a wonderful facility.
Home of the Red Deer College Kings and Queens. And right now, the home of wheelchair basketball. The home of an excellent game is this one. Satos just inside the free throw line. He's kind of leaning back a little bit, still got the shot off. He's going to go to the line on a pretty nice feed there from Ostapchuk to find him. And they are definitely feeding Satos here in the second half.
Well, absolutely. They're trying to get him going. He is their #1 threat, so if they can get him going, they need to win by quite a big point differential if they're going to make it into that playoff round. Bougie that time leaning back and pushing with his chair, pushing Satos back.
Satos, that one a little bit to the right. A little bit too hard as well, so he'll get a second crack at it to make it a 2-point game. 3:41 remaining here in the third quarter. That one, perfect. Quebec's lead now to 43-41. A little bit of battling here at center court, and that's might open things up here for Palmer. See Saskatchewan's defense, see where Palmer's going with that ball. Ostapchuk watching him closely, drops it off. Lalonde up, off the glass, no good. Rebound again inside. Second crack at it. And I like the patience for Alex Bougie, knowing that nobody's going to get to that ball.
Well, Ostapchuk almost got him from behind. He wasn't far, but Bougie with a big reach. Tough to guard.
Ostapchuk now. Satos underneath. Ostapchuk's got about a 10-footer, no problem. Quebec still on top, but Saskatchewan trying to answer back. Numbers here now for Quebec. Lalonde gonna keep it, takes it up, puts it home. And the lead once again, 4 points.
Well, Quebec has a lot of players that can finish on the fast break, so if they can get that open court, they'll take advantage of it.
Bougie has drawn a foul on Satos, and Satos is not happy with the call. Ostapchuk's gonna come in and say, calm down here. Satos is still chatting with the official.
Well, that's a big blow for Team Saskatchewan. Your top player essentially getting into foul trouble here with still plenty of time left in the third quarter. Let's not even mention what's going to happen in the fourth quarter.
Ball will be inbounded on the sideline. Tessier gets it to Colin Lalonde. Lalonde, far side. Palmer turns, has some room, a little bit of a screen in front of him. Can't take advantage. Off the board, front rim and out. Be brought back up by Scher. Throws it into some open court here. Harrower rolls onto that and take it right down the lane. Harrower drops it off. Satos, no good. That one comes up short. Saskatchewan needs Satos to hit those ones.
I thought Harrower should have taken that one to the hole herself and forced Palmer to play defense.
Bougie having himself a third quarter here. He's been left wide open a few times right under the hoop, and the lead now once again 6-4 Quebec.
Coach Palmer got to be happy about Bougie's performance coming off the bench.
With some important minutes here from Bougie. There he is, gets those big arms on that one and bats it out of bounds.
Got dark there for Ostapchuk for everything in the shade. Wow, he's a big boy, Alex Bougie.
All right, now we'll have some substitutions for Team Saskatchewan. Trying to do anything here as a coach to maybe change the momentum up a little bit.
Well, first of all, they've got to figure out a way to keep Satos in the game. And then secondly, they've got to figure out how to get the momentum shift happening in their direction. All of a sudden, it's a 6-point lead for Team Quebec.
Tim mentioning Satos playing with 4 fouls. Nice pass there by Satos, and that one is up and in.
And again, they're attacking Palmer. He's not going to play defense. He wants to stay in the game. He has to stay in the game if Quebec's to be successful.
The B with the layup there. Ostapchuk right towards our monitor. That Sky Thomas almost picked that one in the head.
Garrett Ostapchuk is a real spark plug player. He plays with energy and enthusiasm and intensity. And anytime he's anywhere within about 30 or 40 feet of you, keep your head up.
Yeah, you said he's well known across the country for being a little bit of a fire plug, I guess.
He definitely is intense, and you got to love players like that, because I think it's way easier to control an intense player and help them learn to control it than it is to get a flat player get intense.
Barreau up top, they'll swing it across to Palmer. Watched there by Brady Arthurs. Now back up top. Palmer again, 4 to shoot. He'll take it, no good. Rebound. Nice job there. And I think for a second there, Harrower thought about going down the floor.
He thought about a step check, but didn't really have the angle to pass that one.
It'll be tie up in behind the play here. Now we'll have a whistle at the other end of the floor and in bonus, so it'll be a couple of free throws here.
Well, it looked like Jacob Barreau kind of twisting and turning, trying to bottle up Nabby. Ended up turning into him and clipping his chair, so she'll get the foul.
Navi.
No shortage of emotion in this game, too.
The battle for positioning was continuing while they were setting up for the free throw. Navi on the second one. No good. It comes up short. Rebounded there by Palmer. Now they'll give it back to Palmer to bring it up the court. 49-44, Quebec leading. Just over 60 seconds remaining here in a third quarter in which they've managed to get the lead back. Belfort, watch there. Santos has got to be careful. 4 fouls already. Underneath now, Santos steps in, steals it cleanly. Santos will bring the ball back up, throws it ahead. An opportunity here. Harrower, wide open, drops it off. Ostapchuk puts it up and puts it home to make it a 2-point game.
That's a great fast break by Saskatchewan, and with any luck, they'll get last shot of the quarter, so a chance to establish momentum going into the final frame.
About a 16-second differential in the shot clock. Belfort underneath. Palmer will take it. Fouled on the shot attempt. It doesn't go down, but he'll head to the line for 2.
You know, again, that shot's a little bit early. It's going to give 25 seconds, so that's a 24 is all you're allowed of. That was 25, but that's pretty well going to do it for the third quarter. If Saskatchewan's smart, they'll get last shot and an opportunity to create some momentum.
Possibly even tie the game here, depending on what happens with the second free throw for Palmer. It is good, so it's a 3-point game with 25 seconds remaining. Just a 1-second differential here between the game clock and the shot clock. Saskatchewan trailing by 3. Will they hold for last shot here? Ostapchuk up top. Santos tried to drop it off underneath, and once again, the reach of Alex Bougie coming into play defensively there for Quebec.
You know, when you're trying to get that last shot, you got to stay out of the key. You know, it's too tempting for somebody to pass you in a tough pass. You might get the 3-second call. Now Quebec's going to have 8 seconds with which to try to score and establish momentum.
So you want to stay on the perimeter with maybe about 8 seconds left? Is that kind of what you're thinking? Oh, and now a turnover the other way, and Saskatchewan's going to have a chance for final shot. It'll be Santos to inbound. 6 seconds remaining, third quarter. His team down by 3. They'll drop it off for Santos. Santos, clock hasn't started. Starts late, and they might have to do a reset here as the clock didn't start, and now there's only 4 seconds left. And
well, nobody's really...
I don't think anybody's really noticed.
I don't think anyone noticed except for you.
But it didn't start, yeah. And they're having a discussion right now. I think I saw one player on Quebec point to the clock not having started. And they're going to say the quarter is over as the clock should have been run down quickly. Quebec with a 3-point lead here.
Well, a great effort by Team Quebec to sort of hang in there. They weathered every storm, every push that Saskatchewan put at them.
Quebec will be looking to finish off Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan, the team in green, they need a win to stay alive. They trail by 3 as we get set for fourth quarter action, wheelchair basketball in Red Deer. Wheelchair basketball action continues in Red Deer. A good look there at Alex Bougie, who really came into the game and made a big impact with his reach at both ends of the court.
Well, he came off the bench. There he is stripping Santos. Then he gets his offensive boards, and then once he's in the key, no one's going to be able to reach him. And he does a good job of staying calm. You know, he's 17 years old. He's got another Canada Games left in him. And Coach Alain Gamache from the SIVA club team and Coach Palmer quite happy with this young player's development.
He has really been a difference maker so far, especially in the third quarter. We're underway in the fourth quarter. Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick with you. First of 2 games in our coverage here of wheelchair basketball from the Canada Games. And Lalonde shot a little hard. Nice rebound there, though, from Tessier. Lalonde again dumps it off underneath. Santos has to be careful. Palmer tried to get him to take the foul there, but Santos moved his hand just in time.
Well, he leaned into this, or leaned away from his own cylinder into Santos, and Santos smartly pulling away.
Santos playing with 4 fouls. Ostapchuk puts on the brakes, dumps it underneath. Santos with his team down by 5, dumps it off. No shot yet. Now it's taken a little bit too hard into the hands there now of Woody Belfort. Belfort tosses it ahead. That'll be controlled here by Palmer. Palmer runs into Belfort, and it'll be Quebec ball on the side here.
Well, out of nowhere, Palmer with 16 points so far in the game. Tied for the lead with Lalonde as his team's leading scorer, but it's Ostapchuk with 19. Dustin leading the game.
Palmer 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists already here with still a quarter to play. Lalonde now drops it off. Berube, she'll take it. Hits it. That's a big shot as the lead grows to 7.
Well, if you're Saskatchewan, you're happy to give up the outside shot. You got to put a bit of pressure on a shooter like Berube.
This is tied for the biggest lead of the game. Ostapchuk at the other end. Dumps it underneath. Picked up there. No good rebound. Satos with the rebound. Too hard on the rebound. And now it'll be thrown ahead for Tessier. Tessier watch there. Ostapchuk, good job hustling back.
Well, Tessier heard those wheels grinding behind her, so elected to turn away.
Tessier, the best pass of the game, will drop this off for Palmer. Palmer spins back. And an offensive foul, I believe, on Belfort. And we'll see a good job. All this comes from excellent hustle defensively by Garrett Ostapchuk.
Tessier well in the clear. She realizes that Ostapchuk is going to block her path, or cover her path to the basket, so she pulls away.
Ostapchuk at the top of the key. Took a little bit of a bump, drops it off. Satos, will he take it from the baseline? Has all the time in the world. Knocks it home. You leave him that wide open, he's going to knock it down most of the time, isn't he?
Well, Quebec put a little bit of pressure, but then they backed in again, so he said, oh, thank you very much.
Lalonde gives it to Berube. Berube, Belfort bounces off his hands, wasn't ready for it, and that'll be Saskatchewan ball. A chance here to get a little bit of a momentum and cut into a 5-point lead.
I think Belfort was thinking of looking to set a pick, so he wasn't really expecting that ball.
That'll be brought ahead by Harrower. Harrower keeps it, and that one in and out off the back of the rim, front of the rim, and bounces up and now in the hands of Palmer. Palmer turns back around. Now he'll dump it off to Lalonde. Lalonde is cut inside. Back to Palmer now. 6 to shoot. He's stuck on the outside. A couple of head fakes. Not working so far. 2 to shoot. Palmer will take it. Comes up short. Rebound, though. How about Palmer going to the glass? Gets the rebound and puts it home as Ben Palmer taking this game over in the fourth quarter.
Well, Saskatchewan doing a great job of putting pressure on him out wide. But what that does is open up the key so he's able to get his own rebound.
Satos from deep. That one. Oh, that would have been nice if it went a little bit strong off the back. Rebounded by Palmer. 20 points in the game for Palmer. And Lalonde at the other end is Quebec. Ooh, can't finish. Satos couldn't come up with the rebound. Palmer does. And Palmer gets a friendly bounce off the back of the rim. And they've got their biggest lead of the game.
He also got the friendly bounce off of Lalonde's hand as Lalonde couldn't corral the rebound.
And a timeout from Saskatchewan as they look to stop a big run from Quebec. And the way Quebec is going right now in transition, that might be a tough thing to do, Tim.
Quebec are really a great team on the breakout. They move the ball well. They go into the open space. Great peripheral vision by Berube there to find Lalonde open. Great follow by Palmer to get that offensive board and the putback.
Palmer has really cranked things up a notch here in the second half. He had 16 points through 3 quarters. He's now at the 20-point mark in this game. As you see him getting refreshed here for the home stretch. And what's going on in the Saskatchewan huddle right now, Tim? What's the message, you think?
Well, they've definitely got to stop this momentum. And of course, they've got to find ways to get easy baskets. When you get easy baskets, you start feeling good. Things go your way. You get the momentum. The other team is kind of sitting back a little bit. 9 points, though, that's a long way to come.
14 points for Palmer in the second half of this game so far, with still 6 minutes to go. So 14 points in 13 and a half minutes for Palmer, which is a good. Now, Saskatchewan, when Palmer was out of the game there, they brought a lot of pressure at the end of it. At what point do you start to maybe bring some pressure again, even though he's in the game?
Well, there's 2 levels of gamble you have to take towards the end of the game, no matter whether Palmer's in or out.
Yeah.
First of all, you got to score some 3-point shots. Secondly, you got to think about pressing and maybe trying to steal a ball so you can get the ball back and have more offensive opportunities.
Here is Satos. little bit of a screen. He's going to open Santos up. He'll take it to the hoop, and he finishes this time. Nice job by Shelby Harrower to open up her teammate.
Yeah, that's a nice little steal by Harrower down low, opening up that lane to the hoop for Santos.
Now it will be controlled by Berube. Lalonde with a shot. Nice shot off the glass and in. Nice answer back there by Lalonde. 18 for Lalonde. Ostapchuk wanted it from the elbow, lost the handle. Gets it corralled again, drops it off to Santos. Santos back to Ostapchuk, and we've got a foul in the key. And it will be Saskatchewan ball on the sideline as Harrower was knocked down just inside the free throw line.
Yeah, so if a player goes to the floor basically in the key,
a stoppage, yeah.
It's a stoppage in play just because of the injury factor, and in particular when it's near the ball.
9 seconds.
Yeah, the referees will call that every time.
9 seconds to shoot here as they get it to Santos. Santos with 5 to shoot. Dumps it off. Harrower gonna take it. No, throws it underneath. And that would have been a shot clock violation. Ostapchuk was underneath the hoop.
Well, she went to the hot hand, but unfortunately just ran out of shot clock time.
Timeout has been called by Quebec now. And you have the timeouts. You have so many you can use, and a certain number of them can only be used in the final 2 minutes. Explain that to us,
So
Tim.
in the second half, each team gets 3 timeouts. Only 2 of them can be used in that final 2 minutes. So most coaches will try to burn that one spare timeout, as it were. If they don't need it to stop momentum earlier, they'll burn it to give their team a rest. Maybe prepare them for what's upcoming. You got to anticipate. Saskatchewan now is going to start some full court pressure. They're going to try to steal the ball. They're going to try to shoot some threes. So you kind of get your team ready for that.
And there will be another timeout inside 5 minutes. The TV timeout, both teams will still be able to take advantage of as well. And then they usually almost always save their 2 timeouts for the final couple of minutes, or if you have to, maybe have to use that one a little bit earlier.
Well, you'd like to save them.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Saskatchewan had a bit of bad luck in terms of momentum early on, so they were forced to use 2 already, so they've only got 1 for that final 2 minutes. And the advantage of that, of course, is you have a choice to advance the ball in that last 2 minutes, so you can save a bit of time if you need to score quickly.
Pretty much advance the ball in any situation?
Only when it's a timeout.
Oh, only when the time, okay, yeah. All right, it'll be inbounded here by Palmer. And brought up the floor by Berube. Drops it back to Palmer. The lead is 9 for Quebec. Palmer thought about it. Now tried to dump it off underneath. That's off the hand of Santos and out of bounds with 9 seconds on the shot clock.
And Tessier had a back pick, so Quebec was playing 4-on-4, and I think they were waiting for her to release and come in so they could get that 5-on-4 advantage.
Tessier to inbound, gives it to Palmer, quickly to Lalonde. Lalonde dumped it up underneath. Belfort couldn't come up with it, now he does, just 3 to shoot. Palmer has to get it away off the front of the rim, but rebounded by Berube, and a nice shot clock reset here for Quebec.
And that's a nice momentum factor in Quebec's favor.
Belfort underneath, and that one no good. Rebounded by Santos, wants to move it quickly ahead. They've got to go now, being down by 9. Here's Cher. Cher at the elbow, throws it underneath. Harrower able to come up with it. Harrower puts it up off the glass, over top of Lalonde, and in to cut the lead to 7.
Well, you can get an easy basket, you go for it, and you might even end up getting a 3-pointer the old-fashioned way.
16 now for Harrower. Berube at the top of the key, kicks it off. Tessier back up top, Berube across here to Palmer. Palmer with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Has to reset, turns, takes it. And that one from outside, a clutch shot with just over 4 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter.
Just another day at the office for Benjamin Palmer. What a great shot that was. Cher was right in his face.
And no hesitation after a quick little reset there either. Santos now looking to answer, runs out of room, dumps it off to Ostapchuk, and Ostapchuk fouled there. Palmer, though, dialed in here in the 4th quarter, has his team in front by 9 with the baseline shot. Quebec on top of Saskatchewan. A good look there at Team Saskatchewan. They need a win, but they are down 9 with less than 4 minutes to go. They're going to need a little bit of help here, Tim.
They're going to need a lot of help, actually, because if they win, it becomes a 3-way tie for first place. Then it goes down to a point differential between themselves, Quebec and New Brunswick. New Brunswick has a +16 right now, or +9, I should say, and that's a big advantage.
Underneath, a friendly bounce, and that will be a put home there by Nabi. Belfort moves it ahead. Dropped off here. Lalonde on the fast break. Can he finish? No! Up short on the layup. And Satos will bring it back the other way. The lead now just 7 for Quebec. Satos, he's going to take the 3. Satos comes up just short. He's been close a couple of times, and that one was a wide open look.
Yeah, it looked like his chair kind of spun on him at the last second there. He's maybe a little bit off balance on that shot.
Here is Palmer. Palmer watched there by Ostapchuk. Gets it to Lalonde. Lalonde working here on Satos. Far side. That'll be broken up. 2 seconds to shoot. Palmer's got to get it off, and it's going to come up short and bounce out of bounds. So Saskatchewan will have a chance to cut the lead here to 5.
Saskatchewan forcing some tough shots. They managed to stop that break, forcing tough shots. However, when you do press like that, you're 1 pick away from allowing someone to score a layup, so you got to really switch effectively.
We did see Saskatchewan go on a 6-0 run at the end of the first half. Ooh, that would have helped off the glass, though, and it'll bounce out. They'll get the ball to Palmer with under 3 minutes to play. And Palmer there draws the foul on Ostapchuk.
Well, that's what they call an unsportsmanlike foul as well.
Oh, really?
So usually when you're trying to foul, right now Saskatchewan only had 1 team foul, which is kind of not very good because you want to be near bonus.
Yeah.
And that time Ostapchuk going for the, I think he thought he was going for the ball. The referee thought he just grabbed the arm, and so it'll be 2 shots on the ball for Team Quebec. So you got to be real careful when you're taking those gambles late in the game when you need to press and when you need to foul.
Palmer 1 of 2 as the second attempt goes off front rim. And as Tim mentioned, it'll be possession here now for Saskatchewan. They lead by 8, or Quebec rather. Quebec leads by 8. Here's Berube. Berube far side to Lalonde. Watch closely there. Lalonde, a little bit of room. Looked underneath the hoop. Nobody was home. Now dishes out to Palmer. Palmer just inside 3-point land, and that one a little bit deep, rebounded. Ostapchuk will bring it back the other way. Wants to hurry here for Saskatchewan, and he will. Ostapchuk cuts it inside, dumps it off. Nice play there. There'll be a foul, and Harrower will go to the line. Nice creativity there from Ostapchuk.
Well, it was Harrower really that set that one up. She was on the left side of the court. She cut across to the right, forced the defenders to look over their shoulders, and then got the wide open look. Sometimes the ball is like a magnet. Everybody wants to look at it. If you can kind of sneak in the back door, you get good opportunities.
And Harrower, perfect on the first attempt to make it a 7-point contest. Needs this one as well. Can't get it to go, and the rebound controlled there by Colin Lalonde. Gives it to Palmer. Has Lalonde to the right. Palmer waits. Dumps it off to Lalonde. Lalonde here working against Brady Arthurs. 5 to shoot for Lalonde. Thought about a 3. Now gives it to Palmer. Palmer takes the 3. Comes up short. And that one out of bounds off the chair of Tessier. Saskatchewan ball with 1:57 left.
Well, Saskatchewan's in a bit of a must-win situation here, in a bit of a shaky situation. They really need to get that ball back. Quebec is smart. They're putting the ball in the hands of their best foul shooter, Ben Palmer. But at some point, you got to take the gamble.
Satos trying to look underneath. Nobody there. Long pass, a dangerous one. Risky one, I should say, for Brady Arthurs, and it was over his head.
Well, they really need Satos to get hot from the three-point line, I should say.
Now they'll get it back in the hands here of Palmer. Oh, good look there, and that one's going to be stolen away by Ostapchuk. Excellent effort by Ostapchuk to keep that in bounds as he threw it back there to Harrower, and she drew the foul on Woody Belfort.
Incredible athleticism by Ostapchuk there, just tilting up and tipping that ball back into the hands of Shelby Harrower. There it is right there. Wow.
Excellent play. Keep his team alive. Ostapchuk is cut to the middle. And it'll be 2 shots for Ostapchuk with 1:25 remaining here in the fourth quarter.
It's an interesting end-game situation with Saskatchewan only having 1 foul. So they've got to, if they want the ball back in a hurry, they've got to make 4 quick fouls. 1:25. They're likely to run out of time.
First attempt at the line. Good for Ostapchuk. He's hit 20 points for the first time in this tournament. 2 for 2 at the line. And now a timeout called by Quebec as their lead now 5. 1:25 left. Just keep everybody calm and cool here.
Well, now Nick Palmer, Coach Palmer's got a big decision to make. In the last 2 minutes of the game, there's been a rule change.
Okay.
And so what he has to do now when he inbounds the ball, he decides if he takes it deep in the court, he gets the full 24. If he takes it in the front court to avoid that advancement problem with the press, he only gets 14. So
how long has that rule been in place?
It just came into effect in January.
Oh, really? Okay, so we're talking a brand new rule.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, put on your coach's hat again, Tim, here for a second. And what in this situation, you're up by 5. How do you approach that?
Well, it's a philosophical decision. If you want to advance the ball quickly and avoid any turnovers deep, if you don't think you can break the press, then you're going to go in the front court and take your risk there. If you inbound it deep, that means you're confident in your press break and that you can waste a little bit of time, make it even tougher for Saskatchewan to come back.
And the 14 seconds in FIBA is what the shot clock resets to anyway, so that would be the 14 to take it up the court.
That is correct.
24-second shot clock regularly. 14 on the rebound and 14 if they were to bring it up. So they will go with that 24-second shot clock and inbound it down in their own end. Dropped off here. Ostapchuk defensively here on Lalonde. Runs into it. Names the chairs there. Now Lalonde kicking his way in, down inside. Lalonde's going to go all the way down. Comes up short on the rebound. Satos will grab it there for Saskatchewan. The length of the floor, batted away by Palmer and intercepted. Tried to find Ostapchuk, and now they'll foul Palmer. But like you said, that's only their 2nd foul, so they're going to need 3 more here to get the bonus.
And with a minute left and 5 points, that's going to be a bit of a challenge.
That long bomb down the court, if that works, would have been a 3-point game possibly.
Well, it took Satos a while to corral that rebound and get himself set for the pass. And by that time, Palmer was back.
Here's Palmer. He's got a nice little spin move by Palmer. It's right down from about 10 feet. That one might be a dagger as it puts them up by 7 with less than 50 seconds remaining. Ostapchuk, clear lane here, now closed off by Lalonde. Ostapchuk will take it, can't get it to go. Rebound, Satos. He can't believe that he couldn't finish that one. And now they'll play it ahead. Berube with 30 seconds left, gets it to Lalonde. Lalonde keeps control of it, puts it up at short. And nice job by Tessier to keep it alive. Satos will grab it, just 20 seconds remaining here. Down by 7. Would need a miracle now. Brought ahead. Harrower will let her take it all the way to the lane. And there will be a foul there, so she'll have 2 shots with 10 seconds remaining in the game.
Well, a gutsy performance by Team Saskatchewan. You know, they had to really adjust their starting lineup when they found out that Hoffmuller wouldn't be available. She's on the bench there with them, cheering him on.
That shot comes up just short, but an excellent performance from Shelby Harrower. You mentioned a lot of people would need to step up, and she definitely has today.
Absolutely. She's one of my favorite players, I think, of all time. She just plays with such intensity, such focus, such calmness, and she's very skilled.
Good battle for this ball right at the end. It'll be a foul. That's the third team foul on Saskatchewan. Nabby takes the foul there. So 9 seconds left, and Quebec will be looking to inbound here up by 7. Lalonde takes the ball out of bounds, dumps it off there to Palmer. Palmer in the corner, double teamed here, and that will do it as he drops it off to Lalonde. Quebec 65, Saskatchewan 58. And I think we're gonna put 1 second back on the shot clock and inbound it one last time. But Quebec gonna finish round robin here 3-0, and I think a good victory here in this game because they were very much tested as opposed to the other couple of games.
That's right. Team Quebec, you know, when you go into the playoffs, you want a couple of tough games so that you get your intensity level up. And Ben Palmer there with a terrific game. Great support from Lalonde and the dark horse, Alex Bougie.
Bougie was excellent defensively. Quebec picking up a 65-58 victory over Team Saskatchewan. Quebec with wins over New Brunswick, Manitoba, and now Saskatchewan perfect through round-robin action here. Wheelchair basketball in Red Deer.
The Red Deer 2019 Canada Winter Games are presented by Sport Check, proud national partner of the Canada Games. Sport Check, find what moves you. By PV Industries, communities creating moments, proud supporter of our athletes. By Konica Minolta, a worldwide leader in technology and IT services. And by Tim Hortons, proud to serve the official coffee of the 2019 Canada Winter Games.
Welcome back inside the TSN studios. We hope you enjoyed that exciting matchup between Quebec and Saskatchewan. Quebec staying perfect at the tournament so far this year at the Canada Games, looking for their 5th consecutive gold medal. We'll return to the Gary W. Harris Canada Games Center to watch Ontario take on BC in Pool B action. You can watch that on TSN 3. We'll get you all set next. The Gary W. Harris Canada Games Center is the place to be as Ontario getting ready to take on Team BC as we welcome you inside the TSN studios for Day 5 of the 2019 Canada Winter Games in Red Deer, Alberta. Now, a quick turnaround, actually, for BC as they played earlier and won their game against Newfoundland. They'll be back on the court in just a few moments' time. But a couple of more highlights to show from you from earlier games. This one, women's ringette, Ontario taking on Quebec. Team Ontario player Emma Kelly had quite the game here. She led her team in scoring in this game. Kelly found the back of the net 3 times today for the hat trick. Megan Fortin and Julie Vandal also scoring the 2 goals for Team Quebec, but it was Team Ontario that got the win in this thing. 4-2 was the final. That was Quebec's first loss, while Ontario remains perfect through 4 games. And coming up, we've got the men's hockey finals this Friday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. One player who is hoping to be a part of that finals game is Shane Wright. He sat down with Paul Hollingsworth.
So this is a bit of a page turn. This the Shane Wright lightning round questions. You ready for this?
All right.
If you could score on any NHL goalie, past or present, who would that be?
I don't know. I'd like to say one of the best, like Dominic Hasek, something like a guy like that. I mean, to be able to score on goalie as good as him, I think that'd be pretty impressive. So yeah.
NHLers are very much into Fortnite these days. Do you play?
Yeah, I play a bit, just a little bit.
You good?
Not great, no. But, I mean, it's all right.
And you're honest, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Pre-game meal would be what?
Pre-game, my dad homemade chicken rice burritos.
Nice.
So he grills chicken, he puts a little barbecue sauce on it. He cooks up some rice, and then he puts it in a burrito, just wraps it all up. It's delicious. So good.
NHLer with the best goal celebration. The best celly belongs to whom?
I like... Oh, that's a tough one.
Subban's a good one. He does a good one, yeah.
I mean, myself, I'm not really a celly guy. I mean, when I score, I do usually do like the one little fist pump.
Yeah.
I always like the Kuznetsov bird celebration.
That's right. Yeah.
I thought that was always a pretty funny one.
Pretty original too.
Yeah, for sure.
On your iTunes, your iTunes list, most played song, favorite song would be what?
Most played song. I want to say. Definitely, the band Imagine Dragons.
Yep.
You know that band? Yeah. I mean, when I was younger, my parents got tickets for a family, went to one of their concerts. Nice. So ever since that, I've been a big fan. Definitely one of the songs like Radioactive. That's a big song of theirs, or Demons.
Yes. Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Best warm-up song, or what is your favorite warm-up song? Do you go back to Imagine Dragons for that, or do you go more hard rock, more bounce?
For me, I don't really listen to music before warm-up. I'm kind of... Yeah, I really don't use the headphones at all, but if I had to pick one, it's probably be more like a hard rock kind of thing. Yeah.
You'll love this one. Your sister, this is sibling rivalry stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Your sister's going to the University of Waterloo on a scholarship for soccer. Who's the better athlete in the right household?
Definitely her. I mean, when we were younger, we always used to, compete and stuff. We played soccer, basketball, whatever. She'd always beat me at that stuff, so I'd definitely go with her.
This is a bit more serious. If you weren't a hockey player, if you were not pursuing a career in hockey, what path would you be choosing?
Oh, that'd be tough. I mean, I'd still want to be involved with hockey somehow. I mean, like coach or agent or something like that. No matter what, I definitely want to be involved with hockey when I'm older.
NHL All-Star Game was last month. Let's go back to the skills competition. Which event would you win?
I feel like the fastest skating event. I feel like I'm pretty good at that. I mean, not as fast as a lot of the guys out there, like McDavid. I mean, you see him go around there, it's crazy. Yeah, he can absolutely fly.
Special to watch.
For sure.
Which one would you lose, or which one would be your worst event?
Oh, the shooting accuracy. I'd be horrible at that. And that one and the puck control. The puck control, no, that wouldn't be my strongest one.
Almost done. Which NHLer has the most style, the most swag? Henrik Lundqvist, PK Subban, they're known for looking pretty good when they come to the rink. That's a couple of names to put into your head. If you look across the NHL landscape, who looks the best, the most stylish walking in the rink?
I got to go with Subban. I mean, just the stuff, like the suits he wears, the coats, and then his hats. He wears a different hat every game, so I think.
I want to see his closet.
I know. I want to check it out for sure.
Final question, why number 51?
So my dad actually thought of it. So my birthday is the 5th day of the first month. Nice. So that's where the 51 came from.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Shane Wright from Team Ontario, a 15-year-old hockey player on the rise. Nice job, young man. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Congrats and best of luck at the Canada Games.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The Red Deer 2019 Canada Winter Games are presented by Nova Chemicals, developing and manufacturing chemicals and plastic resins to make everyday life safer, healthier, and easier. By Hotels Red Deer, working as one to create a better destination experience. By IFR Workwear, family is your priority, your workwear is ours. By On the Run, proud sponsor of the Canada Winter Games. On the Run, making the most of every stop. And by Travel Alberta, wander within reach this winter.
And our coverage of the Canada Winter Games continues tomorrow with the boxing finals. Coverage starts 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on TSN 3. With more of what we can expect, let's head down to Paul Hollingsworth.
Thank you so much. Welcome inside the boxing venue here in Red Deer, Alberta. Pat Fiacco is our boxing analyst for TSN. We are excited for the Canada Games coverage of men's boxing on Wednesday night. So, Pat, let's look at the provinces, look at the athletes. First of the provinces, who are some of the powerhouse provinces to watch for on Wednesday night?
Well, we're going to have Quebec, we're going to have Ontario and Alberta. Quebec and Ontario always bring a strong team. Alberta, being the host, also have a strong team. Alberta and Quebec both have 3 boxers in the finals. Alberta has 2. But really, right across the country, out of the 9 provinces that are here, we have 7 provinces that are be represented in the finals. So it's good representation.
We were here a couple of days ago watching some of the practices. Good, young, strong athletes. Who are some of the names of athletes we should watch for?
Well, this group of athletes, these are 17 and 18-year-olds. And what they're doing there is they're actually want to make a name for themselves because they're the next generation. They're going to be vying for the 2024 Olympic Games. So right now, there's 2 weight categories. I mean, they're all going to be good, but the 2 weight categories that I'd look for is the 56 kilos. We have Avery Martin-Duval from Quebec. He's going to be boxing Cole Brander from Alberta. These are 18-year-olds, both really good technical boxers. They're quick, good technique, good combinations, and you're going to see some real good technical boxing in that bout. We're going to move up to 75 kilos, some of the bigger guys. We have Mohamed Zawadi from Ontario. He's 18 years old, and Janik Lacroix from Alberta, who's 17. Mohamed Zawadi is a good technical boxer. He's confident, he's big, throws great combinations, a big, strong right hand. Janik Lacroix, a bit awkward in the ring, but strong. And again, throws big, heavy punches. So that's going to be a real crowd pleaser for everyone watching the finals.
One of the hats you wear when you're not doing work for us at TSN, you're the president of Boxing Canada. You also have deep roots when it comes to the international game of boxing. Let's flash back to the Canada Games 2011 in Halifax. The Halifax Forum was the venue. The crowd sizes were 4,000, 5,000. You were there for it, so was I. It was a fantastic event for men's boxing. And then it disappeared 4 years ago in Prince George. Now it's back. We're happy it's back, but I guess a 2-pronged question. Why did it leave? How'd you get it back?
Well, it was one of those things that Boxing Canada took for granted. We didn't fill full teams. Provinces didn't have full teams, and the Canada Games is a prestigious event, and you want to make sure you've got provincial representation right across the country. We went back after that, and we talked to the Canada Games, told them to give us another chance. They did. Here we are at these games. We have 9 provinces represented. Great competition, strong competition. Every night this venue's been full. No one's walked away disappointed. The athletes are glad to be back. And we're hoping that 4 years from now, not only will we have 6 men's categories, we'd like to have 10, and we'd also like to have 3 women's categories represented as well. So the future is very bright for our sport.
Well, I was going to say, you feel the foundation is back in place and the arrows are pointing in the right direction.
Absolutely, and you're going to see anyone watching these finals, you're going to see what the future holds for boxing in Canada.
He is Pat Fiacco. He's the president of Boxing Canada, also our guest boxing analyst here on TSN for our coverage of the 2019 Canada Winter Games men's boxing in this venue. Wednesday night, we will be pumped up to share it with you. 6 gold, 6 bronze. You don't want to miss it.
Can't wait. All right, fans piling into the Gary W. Harris Canada Games as we get set for Ontario taking on Team BC.
Hi, I'm Benjamin Palmer, a wheelchair basketball from Quebec, and you're watching Canada Games at TSN.
And coming up, he led his team, Ontario, with 26 points. Aaron McDonald hoping to continue to pour on the offense as they take on Saskatchewan, or BC rather, to get us all set up for the matchup. Let's go to Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick.
Team Ontario, a perfect 2-0, a big challenge here against British Columbia. And let's start with Team Ontario, one of their veteran guys, 22 years old. One of the guys that we'll be watching here, Aaron McDonald.
Well, they've got a team full of veterans. Aaron McDonald, of course, the tallest veteran on the team. Great outside shooter, great inside. He's the player to watch. However, what Ontario is going to do is going to full court press the whole time, try to keep BC off balance.
Could be an interesting night for British Columbia. One of the stars for British Columbia, just 17 years old, averaging 12 points per game so far in the event. Gabe Harrison, tell me a little bit about him.
Well, Gabe's a sweet shooter. He comes out of Pender Island, which is my hometown, so it's kind of exciting to see him. But BC is going to have to score by committee. I mean, Harrison's always going to get his points, but the other players need to step up, get in the key, break the press, and score.
As I mentioned, 2-0 Ontario so far. BC, this is a must-win situation for them, and we will get things rolling here from Red Deer momentarily.
The Red Deer 2019 Canada Winter Games are presented by Nova Chemicals. Plastic is a valuable resource, not to be discarded. Put it to better use. Kindly recycle while enjoying the games. By MNP, proud supporter of the 2019 Canada Winter Games. By Navigator, when you can't afford to lose. By the City of Red Deer, it's in the spirit of sport. It's here. It's Red Deer. By The Look Company, building sport and event environments that are always engaging. The proud branding partner of the 2019 Canada Games.
Tangerine Raptors basketball continues with a huge matchup on Friday when a familiar face in DeMar DeRozan makes his return to Toronto as the Spurs and Raptors go head-to-head. Watch the action at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN 1, 3, and 4. And Monday, February 25th. It's Canada's #1 trade deadline show. Comes your way as James Duthie, Bob McKenzie, Darren Dreger, and Pierre LeBrun bring you comprehensive coverage of every story and trade from every angle and platform. Wow, Monday already. Feels like we've been counting down forever. Huge game up next, though. Ontario taking on BC. For that, let's go to Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick.
Welcome back to the Canada Games Centre as we get set for the tap-off between Ontario and British Columbia. Just announced in-house here at the center is the fact that this is the first time in Canada Games history we've had an all-female officiating crew, Tim, which I know you deal with the officials quite a bit. That's got to be a very cool event for everybody involved.
Well, that's pretty neat. For many years, I've been pestering the officials' crews to have all-female refs at the female championships, and so this is a great step forward for the sport and for women in sport.
Look at Kathy Ludwig, the head coach of Team Ontario, an Ontario team that comes in here with a very good start so far to the event. And on the other side for British Columbia, Simon Cass.
Well, both coaches, Simon Cass did a great job this morning. BC's already played against Newfoundland. They won the game 49-31. He did a great job of rotating everybody through. So hopefully that'll serve as a tune-up. Coach Ludwig, her first time as a head coach. She's been here before as an assistant. Done a great job preparing this team.
And we are underway. The winner of this game will advance to face Quebec in the semis. A Quebec team that we watched earlier today on TSN.
Not quite sure what went on there.
We're going to do it again.
I think they lined up for the tap-off on the wrong side. That's embarrassing.
It'll be McDonald, Aaron McDonald, 15 points.
I noticed the players looked a bit confused when the Ontario team started heading towards the BC basket.
15 points in the first game of the event for McDonald, 14 in the second. Can't win the tap-off here. And BC will have the first possession of the game. This is Hagel. Hagel taking a look underneath. A nice pass. Could not be controlled there, though, by Tanner Young. And a turnover on the first possession of the game for British Columbia.
Well, great job by Matt Norris to steal the tip. And it looks like going to be BC ball now.
BC will maintain possession. Ball will be inbounded here. Jezetsky. And BC wasn't sure either. They're going to hustle back up here offensively. An interesting first 20 seconds of this game, Tim.
I've never seen teams start the wrong way.
All right, the ball will be inbounded here and controlled by Young underneath. A nice look. How about that for an attempt? That's not going to go. It'll be picked up by Ontario. And Colonzo will control for Ontario. Colonzo shaking off the first look. Picked up here immediately by Norris. Drops it off underneath. Shot attempt is up and in. Lee Melimick is able to get Ontario on the board, and now we see this pressure from Ontario right away. And BC's going to try to take advantage of it by throwing it deep down the court, and that was into the hands of Tanner Young. And we've got our first foul of the game, and that'll be Lee Melimick.
Well, Melimick is a key to this team's success. He's had senior national team experience, World Championships, U23 experience at World Championships. Very strong, very tough player.
This is Harrison, dumps it underneath. Young turns around. Young, no good. He had a lot of pressure. Aaron McDonald, a big body down there in the low post. Colonzo now. Melimick takes it. He's watched closely there by Young. Drops it off. Good job here defensively by BC. Throwing down low here to McDonald. McDonald from the baseline puts one up. Ooh, and that's in and out. Rebounded, though, by Melimick. And a quick 4 points here for Lee Melimick, and Ontario is up and into the lead.
Maintaining that full court pressure.
BC managing to move it up so far, and they'll get things set up here with about 14 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Now dumped underneath, and the shot coming there a little bit too hard from Harrison, rebounded by Colonzo.
Harrison's got a nice soft shot, but that one's a little bit strong.
Colonzo just throws it ahead. Melimick, 3 for 3, and he's got 6 points in the early going. And I think we're going to get an early timeout here.
Coach Simon Cass not liking what he sees. He's had a few opportunities inside the key, but it's been actually Lee Melimick at the other end that has scored from inside the BC key. Nice little left-hand scoop.
That one looks just too easy. And the first one, a good second effort by Melimick. And you mentioned the amount of experience he has, and that's what we're looking at here between these two teams right now, right, Tim? The Ontario team is very experienced. This team from British Columbia, they could almost return their entire group for the next Canada Games.
They only have 2 players that are going to age out, as it were, so they'll be bringing at least 10 back and then picking up a couple. Obviously, Ontario, the majority of their team will age out. They've had a great run over the years, and last year won junior national championship, so they're looking to repeat that victory here and get back to the podium. It's been a while for Ontario.
Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick with you here at the Gary W. Harris Canada Games Center. Second game of the day for us, wheelchair basketball, as British Columbia down early here against Ontario. Now be brought ahead. Norris lobs it. Open area on the court. Young gets there. Now puts it in behind Hagel. He's able to grab it, though. Hagel finds Harrison. And there is going to be a foul.
Well, number 14, Gabe Harrison, 17 years old. He's got this uncanny ability to get open inside the key. That time a foul was called before he had a chance to get that shot away.
That one on Melimick. Too early here on Melimick, actually. Now BC to inbound. They'll throw it up top. Harrison's got a ton of time. Rolling into this one. Comes up a little bit short, but how about that? Harrison gets his own rebound. Pressured underneath, and it looked as though McDonald got a piece of that one. Good battle as they work their way up the court. Voss turning, trying to get into the key. Gonna be turned away. Now dumps it off to Colonzo. Colonzo has been playing playmaker so far, unable to get that one to go, and the nice reach of Harrison's able to bring it in. Now they'll be gobbled up there by Tanner Young. Dropped it off, a loose ball, and it will be scooped up by a falling Matthew Norris and given away. Colonzo able to come up with it, and Ontario buzzing all over the place defensively.
A little bit of a calamity of errors going on there for BC on the press break that time.
Colonzo, a nice feed underneath, and Adel Ahmed is able to finish. Now an opportunity for BC to get on the board here. Left-hand layup will not go, as Hagel missed it there with Colonzo closing in on him.
Well, Hagel's got great speed. That was a nice little left-hand scoop. Just did not fall.
Colonzo underneath, and an easy 2 more there for Lee Melimick.
I'm surprised the referees didn't whistle that one down, as Norris was down in the key that time. Melimick having a career game here for Ontario. I think that's his 8th point.
I believe that's correct, and coming into this, Melimick had 8 points in the first game, 10 points in the second game. He's got 8 points in about 3.5 minutes here in this one, so you're right, he's off to a terrific start. Now it'll be played ahead. Harrison drops it off there for Norris. Norris forced back. Norris looks, wanted to dump it underneath. That's stolen by McDonald, and he'll get it to Colonzo. Colonzo, obviously a ball transporter here for this Ontario club.
Yeah, Van Bakel had a mismatch in the middle of the key, but McDonald prevented the pass.
McDonald with a shot, and that's an easy two. And Ontario running away with this thing early. And BC's going to bring in another substitution as they get a chance to have a little bit of a breather here.
Well, it looks like Ben Garrett is coming in for Matt Norris.
Ontario's defense so far here has really been a major issue for British Columbia, hasn't it, Tim?
Well, and Lee Melimick getting inside. I mean, that's not normally where he likes to play, usually a perimeter player, but somehow getting in the key. And some good examples there. BC not really being able to corral the ball. Ball management, a big part of breaking the press. You usually have to break it by passing rather than dribbling.
Now, if for Ontario, when we talked about how BC is a younger team, is Ontario always run that press, or are they doing it to try to take advantage of a younger team here?
Well, former coaches Steve Bialowas and Michael Broughton were big fans of pressure-type defense. They like that high-intensity game. So Ontario's always played a high intensity. And Kathy Ludwig, who obviously tutored under them, as it were mentored by them, has carried on that tradition.
BC to inbound. And right now you can see once again Ontario and what they're able to bring to the table here. It'll be Harrison coming back to grab the ball, moves it ahead to Van Bakel. Van Bakel pressured, managed to keep control of it here. Now Van Bakel maybe with a little bit of room. And some pressure there from Ahmed, and it'll be a foul on number 11 in white.
Well, Van Bakel coming into the game to add a bit of height to help with that press break on the passing, but the thing that you have to do to break a press is you have to set picks. If you try to beat your man one-on-one, you're going to be in trouble.
Van Bakel drops it off. Hagel too hard off the glass and into the hands of Aaron McDonald, averaging 14.5 points per game. McDonald takes it down to the baseline, turns around, looks like he wants to take that shot, and he does. He's hit a couple from down on that baseline.
I tell you, when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. There was no question in his mind he was going to shoot that ball no matter what.
And Ontario as a team feeling it very much so right now, out to a 14-0 cushion. And Ontario so far in this event has been having their way with the competition so far, and there's a foul. That's going to be the second on Adel Ahmed.
Well, Melimick getting a rest so that he doesn't get into foul trouble, and his replacement, Poussin Lai from the senior national team, but Ahmed with his second too.
So a little bit of early foul trouble here from Ontario, but they do have a 14-0 lead. And I think we are going to do it again.
Well, that's a risk you take when you play that pressure defense. You get aggressive, you get excited, and you pick up fouls, but obviously working quite well for Team Ontario right now.
Nick Van Bakel, yeah, they'll trade a little bit of foul trouble for a early 14-point lead. Van Bakel drops it off. Harrison trying to cut to the inside, running out of room, drops it off for Hagel. Hagel finds a little bit of space, and he'll take the shot, and BC just can't get anything to fall, and another rebound from Aaron McDonald. McDonald cuts it right down the lane. Clear path, bumped at the end. Knocked down. Wow, no call.
BC got away with one there.
The ball will be controlled by Ben Garrett. Now knocked out of bounds, and BC still looking to get things going. It's been all Ontario in the early going, led by 22-year-old Aaron McDonald. Ontario with a 14-0 lead. Back in Red Deer at the Canada Games, a strong Ontario contingent of fans here to cheer on their team that's out to a 14-0 lead, and it's been a steady diet of Michael Colonzo dishing the ball out so far here.
Well, Colonzo rarely leads his team in scoring, but what he does really, really well is he plays great defense and he really manages the basketball and piles up those assists.
Done a good job of it, and the recipient so far, Lee Melimick, has been very busy at the end of those Colonzo passes. Melimick does still remain on the bench in a little bit early foul trouble. 2 fouls here in the first quarter.
There's been a mismatch here for BC.
Down low, an opportunity here to get on the board, and that one a little bit too much. Rebound for Garrett, and Garrett gets BC on the board, which gets a nice cheer here from the BC fans that are in attendance. Good crowd here, actually, this evening.
Excellent fans. There's a lot of parents that made the trek over to Red Deer here, and also a lot of players and officials from the other sports.
Colonzo's going to do it himself here as he takes a feed, rolling down the lane, and puts it up to restore the 14-point cushion.
And he's having a terrific game. Michael Colonzo in his last opportunity at the Canada Games.
There's Hagel. Hagel trying to take it all the way down, drops it off now. Van Bakel forced to circle back, tosses it up to the top for Garrett. Garrett drops it off to Hagel. Hagel throws it in the middle, and Van Bakel can't finish. Harrison came in there as well. Harrison goes down. Van Bakel still can't finish, and will get that whistle with the dangerous play in the key there with Harrison falling to the floor.
Yeah, as soon as Harrison went down, the referee has to blow the whistle. Had the ball been in the air, the basket would have counted, but Van Bakel piling up some offensive rebound stats. But nice job of creating the mismatch.
Harrison comes baseline, takes the feed, and that one's going to be knocked out, and Colonzo knocked it off the fingertips of Harrison. And now we'll get a battle for position here in the corner of the court. And this is all about getting free and coming back the other way, isn't it?
It is, and you know, if you can get a 5-on-4 advantage or a 4-on-3, you know, either way, it's a great opportunity to score.
And now it'll be brought up the court by Eric Voss. Voss, nice little move to free up some room for himself. Now Voss drops it off. Ahmed, a little bit of trouble, throws up the left-hander, no good. And that rebound will be taken and controlled and thrown up there by Buisan Lai.
Well, the BC defense did a great job of forcing a tough shot, but didn't corral the rebound. Good job by Lai to put that one back.
Now thrown ahead. Picked up there by Gabe Harrison, working on Voss right in front of us. Nice pass to Van Bakel, drops it off for Hagel. Hagel right hand, and that one won't go. Shot contested a little bit there by Aaron McDonald. Colonzo now back up the floor. Got McDonald in behind him. Colonzo drops it off for Voss. Voss from about 18 feet, and he will knock it in from deep to make the lead 20-2.
Well, when things are going your way, they're going your way. Great shot by Eric Voss. He's a veteran of this team. Real team leader, Voss is.
Ontario is shooting the lights out so far. BC's already used both their timeouts. Van Bakel up and under, and this is an example of what is happening right now. Van Bakel misses a wide open look, but does get his rebound.
Well, you know, the younger players, you know, they make those shots normally, and they make them against the teams that are about their level. But when the pressure is on a little bit more, it's a little bit tougher. And Van Bakel, nice job to get his own rebound and put it away nicely.
Team Ontario is going to call a timeout as they lead here with 1:53 remaining in the quarter.
Well, they're doing Team BC a bit of a favor, as Coach Cass has already used both of his timeouts for the first half here in the first quarter, so he'll get a chance to make some adjustments, a bonus situation for him.
Ontario started this game with a 14-0 run. BC didn't get on the board until the 4:01 mark of the first quarter. BC's averaging 47 points in the previous 3 games, so they have put up some points. It's some of these wide open looks that they haven't been able to take advantage of.
Well, they can all score, but they haven't faced the likes of Aaron McDonald before. They haven't come up against a player that tall, and they haven't come up against the players that are as strong and as quick as Voss and Colonzo.
As we said, the winner of this game will advance to take on Quebec in one semifinal. And a nice start for Ontario. They'll throw it ahead to Voss. Voss brings it over the center line. Well, picked up there by Garrett. Ontario's averaging 63 points so far in the game, and well on that pace here in this one. McDonald from about the free throw line puts it up. Can't get it to go. Ontario, in the top of playing great defense, they have been shooting the lights out as well.
Yes, they've had a very good start, and you know, mentally that's important in a game like this.
Here is Young. Young drops it off here to Hagel at the top of the key. Watched by Lai. Gives it back to Young. 5 to shoot. Now he will. No good there. Rebound off the fingertips of McDonald, and it'll be BC ball with 67 seconds remaining in the opening quarter.
Well, Young is a very aggressive player, normally gets inside. We should look for him to attack the key instead of sitting at the perimeter.
Ben Garrett is going to be subbed out of this game. Coming back in is Matthew Norris. Started the game for British Columbia.
Well, Norris is probably the fastest player on the team, so they need that speed right now.
Van Bakel drops it off, almost gave it away with Colonzo right there. Van Bakel wants to go back to the ball. He will. He gets it. 3 to shoot. He's going to have to put one up from 3, and he got it! Van Bakel knocks it down! And there's some momentum for British Columbia.
That's a big boost for BC as Nick Van Bakel at the buzzer with the 3.
Alonzo looking here. Ahmed wide open in the lane as Norris had fallen. And that's an easy 2 for Adel Ahmed.
Well, BC doing a good job of forcing the lower threats in their scoring order to shoot.
Hagel's going to take it in with the right hand, and he'll hit it home to cut the lead to 13. Ontario can hold for last shot here if they want, as the shot clock is off. Now just 5 seconds here. This will be brought ahead. And from the free throw line, no room to shoot it. Maybe not aware of what was going on. Colonzo's shot will go in, but that will not count. So BC, it looked like they were going to get run out of the building here, actually putting together a little bit of a run at the end of the first quarter, but it has been all Ontario. 22-9, they lead British Columbia at the Canada Games in Red Deer. Welcome back to Red Deer, everyone. Dustin Nielsen, Tim Frick with you. A look there at McDonald, and it's Aaron McDonald, and his length defensively has been a huge difference maker.
Well, he's tall, he's got long arms. You know, he started to play in the game because a friend of his with a spinal injury said, hey, come on out and play with us. And boy, is that makes Kathy Ludwig, Coach Ludwig, very, very happy.
And if you look at it, in part due to his defense, BC shot just 22% from the field in the first quarter. On the other side, Ontario, 68.8% from the field.
And that's an unheard of number. They were averaging 43 for the tournament.
I was going to say, when you see those numbers right now on the field goal percentages, if you're BC, you probably don't even feel that bad being down 13 when the other team's shooting almost 70%.
You know, when I used to coach, I always used to tell the team, sometimes you have a bad start, but the chickens will always come home to roost and things will average out towards the end. So let's hope BC has that kind of patience.
Voss drops it off there. Now they'll throw it inside. That's 22 in whites. Can't get it to go. Eric Robesniaks.
Robesniaks has had a pretty good tournament as well. He's a big boy, big, strong, tall player for Team Ontario.
Now brought ahead. Hagel. Watch there. Pressure, drops it up underneath. And that one comes up just short. Good hustle for the rebound. And they'll get it back to Van Bakel. Drops it off. And once again, Tanner Young can't get it to go, but scooped up again. Good second efforts here from BC. Norris wide open. Norris will put it home. And BC cuts the lead to 11.
Well, great patience by Matt Norris, and great job by Team BC, Tanner Young, to create those mismatches.
Resnick brings it in, cuts to the right, picked up there, runs into a little bit of trouble here, and will eventually dump it off into the steady hands there of Michael Colonzo. Colonzo, all the time in the world, gonna shoot, misses everything, and it will bounce out of bounds, so a chance for BC to go on a little bit of a run.
That's right, Colonzo, I think, was looking for a teammate to pass it to, and then a little bit distracted on his shot.
Ben Hagel to center, picked up there by Ahmed. Hagel now gets to the free throw line, drops it off, takes the return feed. Hagel comes up short. He had a pretty good look there too. And then it touches Hagel while he was out of bounds, so it'll be Ontario ball.
Well, the great give and go by Hagel, and got a good shooting opportunity as well. So BC getting the opportunities, just need to start knocking them down.
Melimick will check back into the game. 4 for 4 in the first 3:39 of the game, but also picked up a couple of fouls. He's got the ball now, and he's playing with 2 fouls. They'll bring it ahead. Melimick cutting wide. Forced out there by Young. Drops it off underneath. And it's going to be 2 plus a trip to the line for Rebeznieks.
Melimick looked like he was going to go coast to coast there, but cut off by the BC defense. However, when the big defender, Tanner Young, came across, that opened up the lane for Rebeznieks.
Rebeznieks. This is that one rebounded, put back up by Colanzo, and puts it home to restore a 15-point Ontario cushion.
Great job by Colanzo, the offensive rebound. Now, it's really inexcusable to allow a shorter player to get an offensive rebound on you on a foul shot. So
Hagel.
He's going to have to tighten up.
Weaving his way in, drops it off to Van Bakel, and Colanzo defensively comes in and knocks it out of harm's way. Gabe Harrison's going to check back into the game here for British Columbia. They could really use him getting going here, couldn't they, Tim?
Well, they sure could. He's a sweet shooter. He's the team's leading scorer. And if they can get him going, they'll cut into that Ontario lead. But you've got to give full credit to Team Ontario. Boy, they played a solid game at both ends of the court.
Harrison played 8:07 in the first quarter, was 0 for 4. He does not have a point yet in this game. That one a little bit too hard, trying to go off the glass, rebounded by Colanzo. And Colanzo's gonna weave his way up the court here. Assessing things. Drops it back. Melimick thought about it. He's been hot, 4 for 4. Drops it off to Voss. Inside for Rebeznieks. It's going to be bumped there and be a foul against BC.
Rebeznieks doing a great job down low of creating the mismatch. Harrison had him bottled up. He made a few moves, ends up with a switch on a shorter player, and BC forced the foul.
Off the inbound, a nice look there to Colanzo, and he was fouled as he went up, so Colanzo's going to head to the line.
Colanzo's having a heck of a game.
7 assists in the first quarter.
You know, and he's doing those little things that don't show up on the scoreboard as well. You know, the good defensive positioning, you know, managing the basketball and waiting until his teammates are in position, like when Rebeznieks got that mismatch down there. So Colanzo doing a good job, and then that time, of course, driving the lane on the inbounds play.
1 of 2 at the line. The rebound controlled there by Van Bakel, who moves it ahead. Norris wants to move it to Hagel, a little bit too high, and that one will be taken away by Ahmed. Ahmed throws it ahead to Melimick. Melimick underneath, nice little give and go there on a screen and roll from Ahmed. He's got 6.
Well, Ahmed played with the senior national team this summer as well at the World Championships. So that experience certainly coming to the fore here.
Hagel calling for help, gets him in the form of Gabe Harrison. Harrison watched by Ahmed. Now Harrison with a little bit of room. Voss closes that off quickly. Nice defensive help there from Voss. Now Harrison trying to bully his way into the lane, and from the edge of the paint puts one up. Can't get it to go. Rebound though corralled by Norris. We talked about his speed and paid off there, didn't it, Tim?
Absolutely, and Harrison's got a mismatch on the far side.
They're going to go to him inside, and Harrison can't get anything to fall. 0 for 2 this trip down the court.
Lee Melimick has got really long arms, and he's a strong player, so Harrison really having a hard time getting a clean shot.
Broken up by Norris. Colanzo following up. Colanzo from about 14 feet, rebounded there by Harrison. Throws it away, and we'll have a race for it now. And that's going to be a foul there. And it'll be the 3rd of the game on Adel Ahmed. And we might have an injured player here, as Norris went down pretty hard.
We'll take a look at the replay here, and Ahmed did not establish position there. Hopefully Norris did not hit his head. It looked like he tucked it in, but when you're going as fast as Matt Norris and you go down, you're bound to bump or bruise something. And he's just hopefully going to be all right, just shaking it off.
Shaking out the cobwebs here. And coach is out to discuss things with him as well. They're going to get him back up into his chair. And a round of applause here at the Canada Game Center for 18-year-old Matthew Norris.
You don't see that in wheelchair basketball too often either. He lost his shoes in that spill, and hopefully Matt Norris will be all right.
Pretty big collision here at center court.
He's a tough nut. I've been, you know, being from BC myself, I've seen him play quite a bit, and he's taken a few spills and come back quite effectively, so we'll look for that.
Ben Garrett checks into the game. Now they'll come to Harrison. Gabe Harrison, watch closely, dumps it off to Hagel. Hagel there, picked up by Melimick. Harrison back, 3 to shoot. Can't get it off. Now he'll take a crack at it just before the shot clock expired. Rebound comes down, and Robesniks is able to scoop it up. Now Robesniks picked up there by Garrett. Drops it off underneath. Voss picks it up nicely. Shot a little bit too much. Van Bakel kind of going on tilt there to pick that one up.
Well, nice tilt by Van Bakel to draw that rebound in. And
Hagel back the other way. Can't find any room to get by live. Now Hagel drops it off back up top. Krzyzewski lobs it to Harrison. 2 to shoot. Harrison tried to throw it underneath to Van Bakel, which was a good idea if the shot clock wasn't expiring on them.
Well, they just ran out of time, and Ontario switched up their lineup a bit. They've got their 2 big players in now, Robesniks and McDonald. So an opportunity here for perhaps less speed and less pressing. Colonzo out of the game, so BC needs to take advantage of this.
McDonald checking back in here. As Tim mentioned, here's Voss. McDonald's going to go right down the lane. Voss lobs it to McDonald, executed perfectly until the shot attempt, which comes up a little bit short. But I like the way that they got him wide open down low.
A nice little pick and roll.
Comes to Garrett. Garrett to Van Bakel. Van Bakel off the board, couldn't get it high enough, and the rebound will come to Busan live. And we've got a whistle here with 4:29 remaining, and Ontario has reestablished control with a 29-11 lead on British Columbia. Welcome back to Red Deer, everyone. Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick with you. A look there at Adel Ahmed, who's having himself a heck of a game. He's a player that's classified as a 1. So, Tim, explain that to us a little bit.
Well, their classification system assigns a number based on the player's functional ability within the chair. So it's how far you can lean out to each side, whether you can go forward, how stable you are. And so a class 1 like Ahmed there really can't lean out of his chair very much. A class 4 or 5 like Aaron McDonald, he can lean both ways. He's stable. It doesn't matter where he gets hit, he's going to maintain possession. And it goes by half points. So 15 points is what you're allowed on the court. So if you got 2 4-5s out there, your other 3 have to add up to 6. But typically the 4-5s are the big scorers, but for Team Ontario, the 1s have been doing a great job.
I was going to say, that's a huge advantage, right? And there's a shot put home, and the lead now pushed up to 20 for Ontario. As Voss finishes that one off.
Both teams in a must-win situation, and Ontario doing a great job at both ends of the court.
Now controlled down low, shot coming there, that bounces away. That was from Megan Smith, just a 16-year-old. And now numbers here the other way for Ontario. Voss will keep it left hand, and it's good as Ontario's offense continues to roll.
Riley Bissenden seeing her first action for Team BC. She'll age out after this, so this is her opportunity to shine.
Here is Garrett looking inside to Harrison, but McDonald, and we featured him a little bit earlier, when he's in the paint there defensively, there's just not much room.
Well, you got to keep the pass away from those long arms, and that time a little bit too tight.
Now Garrett's going to throw it ahead. Harrison turns around, reaches back for it. Harrison's got a clear lane to the hoop. The right hand, and Gabe Harrison puts it home. His first 2 points of the game for Harrison, who was averaging 12 coming into this one.
Heads up, fast break by Harrison, and good job by Garrett to steal that ball and get it down to him.
Harrison had 15 points in the morning game here for BC. Inside to McDonald from about 9 feet, and no problem there. Tough to defend McDonald when he gets the ball in that position.
Well, he's a veteran player. He's a great shooter. And, of course, he's got that height, and it's really tough when you get in the key and you get that, your chair kind of provides a bit of space for you, the foot plates.
McDonald's got 6. Harrison at the other end can't reply. Picked up, dished back off. And that one is up no good. And rebounded there again by McDonald. Thrown ahead and picking it up. Melimick, right hand, able to roll it in. And he continues to roll along today. He's got 10.
What a performance by Lee Melimick. He's actually had a great tournament, and so it's no surprise that he'll come up big in this game.
Now dished off down into the corner. A ton of time. Obviously, Tanner Young does not want that shot. Tried to find Harrison on the far side. Picked off by Melimick.
That's a tough pass, that cross-court skip.
Melimick drops it off to Voss. Voss throws it up. Almost went down. Managed to draw a foul, as we're going to take a look at the transition game of both teams.
Well, we saw Voss get that nice little layup earlier. This time he gets the offensive foul. But the pace of the game picking up a little bit here.
Nice job by Harrison to reach back for that one before finishing to finally get on the board, and that'd be big for his personal confidence.
And he took his time, took a nice angle on that layup, and the team's leading scorer finally on the board.
Hagel. This is Ben Hagel, watched closely there by Eric Voss. Drops it off to Young. Young had Harrison driving towards lane. That opens up Hagel a little bit. Hagel, though, pressured. 8 to shoot, has it stripped away. Now they're going to look ahead here to Melimick. And he couldn't control it, got a piece of it, but it'll bounce out of bounds with 1:15 remaining in the opening half. And Ontario has taken that pressure off here. Earlier in the second quarter they did. If you weren't with us in the first quarter, heavy dose of full court pressure from Ontario.
Sarah Black into the game for Ontario, number 9.
Young drops it back up top for Hagel. Comes across to Harrison. Baseline. Stopped there by McDonald. Forced back. Tries to reset. Nice move. Now throws it far side. Young with the shot off the window. And in. With 50 seconds left here in the first half.
Well, if you're going to make that cross-court skip pass, you got to put it right into the shooter's hands in the shot pocket. And that's exactly what Harrison did there. Nice shot by Young.
Voss. Just outside the free throw line, dumps it underneath. McDonald likes the baseline here. He's going to take another one. Tried to go off the glass. That didn't work. Off of BC, though, and out of bounds. So another possession here for Ontario.
And number 9 for BC, that ball went off Joel Ewart. He's a member of the Wheelchair Rugby Next Gen program. This will be his final appearance in the Canada Games for basketball.
Ross is up, couldn't control. And Melimick gets it back. 12 on the shot clock, 20 in the half. Melimick from the baseline, and why not? I mean, Melimick's been hitting from everywhere here in the first and second quarter.
Well, that bodes well for Canada's senior national team. Get a player like Melimick come along that can score like that.
3-point attempt there from Hagel, and 39-15, Ontario leads. Tim, what do you make of the opening half?
Well, we expected Ontario to come out with full court pressure. You know, we knew BC's inexperience might be a factor. If they could get in the key, they could score. They did get in the key, but they didn't score. So top marks to Ontario at both ends of the court. Great full court defense, and coming back the other way, the likes of Lee Melimick and Ahmed scoring for Team Ontario.
Ontario has dominated the opposition so far. They're doing it again here. 39-15, they lead British Columbia.
The Red Deer 2019 Canada Winter Games are presented by Nova Chemicals. Everyone agrees plastics do not agree with our oceans, rivers, or anywhere in the environment. Please be responsible while enjoying the games. By Finning Canada, proud partner of the Canada Winter Games and our athletes. By Driving Force, vehicle rentals, sales, and leasing. Proud to be the fleet provider for Canada's Winter Games. By ATCO, proud sponsor and official energy provider of the 2019 Canada Winter Games. And by the Government of Canada, proud supporter of the 2019 Canada Winter Games.
Ontario with the lead over BC at the half. Hello and welcome inside the TSN studios for your halftime coverage. I'm Kayla Gray. In 2016, Maggie Carson was rushed to the hospital and then told that she had a life-threatening tumor. She then had 2 brain surgeries and had to undergo chemotherapy, but here she is now at the Red Deer, Alberta Games. And with more on her inspiring journey, let's go to Paul Hollingsworth.
Maggie Carson has come to Red Deer to compete in the sport she loves.
I feel exhilarated. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
But not that long ago, 3 years to be exact, when she was 11, Carson was facing a much bigger challenge than anything she'll ever experience in the gym.
I had headaches for about 1.5 years prior to December 2016.
She knew something was wrong. When she was examined by a doctor, the news was devastating.
And then we found the tumor in 2016.
Carson was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Her life had changed direction. Her family was devastated.
I think they tried their best to keep their composure and keep themselves from getting too emotional in front of me.
Initially, a decision was made to push the surgery back to May of 2017, allowing her to compete in the Western Canadian Championship. But then her health began to decline.
We had to move it up because I had a seizure and I started having symptoms again.
Now, 2 surgeries and 3 years later, she's symptom-free, full of energy, and competing on the highest stage. Through it all, Carson never stayed away from the gym. She was always training.
It was hard to keep my physical abilities up, but it was really easy to just get back to my normal environment, and it felt really good to get back to gym.
Carson actually improved during the time she was recuperating from 2 brain surgeries.
I jumped from level 8 to level 10.
Training for the Canada Games is a tough assignment for any young athlete. Factor in a brain tumor, and it proved to Maggie Carson that she is strong. She has a toughness to her that she brings to her sport and to her life every day.
Courage-wise and mentally and physically, she's able to handle a lot. She hardly ever tells me like she's hurting or this and that. Like, I'll have to ask her and really probe on her. She's just someone who shows a lot of strength and bravery.
Gymnastics remains Carson's primary focus, but her health concerns are a constant issue that won't go away.
Right now, as of my last MRI, I'm stable. Everything's fine. The tumor's not completely gone, but it's stable. No growth, no shrinkage.
In Red Deer, she's competing for the Northwest Territories, for her parents, and the doctors who provided care during her darkest moments.
I would not be here without them.
But Carson is also competing for herself. Who could blame her? Grabbing a medal at the Canada Games would be a crowning achievement for this brave 14-year-old who has overcome so much. Paul Hollingsworth, TSN.
An amazing example of perseverance. Well, when it came to the Red Deer Canada Games, 20,000 visitors were expected to hit Red Deer, not only to take in all of the games and action surrounding the event, but just a taste of what the 3rd biggest city in Alberta had to offer.
So, Tom, I would say welcome to Red Deer. You were here before I got here, but from a Canada Games standpoint, you're in Red Deer, you're excited to be here, the games are set to go. The level of excitement from the board level on down is what? How do you describe it to me?
Absolutely exceptional. I walked through the village with the kids this morning at breakfast, and boy, they pumped for the games. The team here in Red Deer with the whole committee has been an outstanding group. They've been working on this project for 8 years now.
I've done every Canada Winter Games going back to 2003, from Campbellton, Bathurst, all the way through now to 2019. What does an event like this do for a community, athletically, culturally, from a tourism standpoint? It seems to check so many great boxes with some legacy pieces attached as well.
Well, this is one of the greatest Canadian properties, sometimes a bit of a secret, but in a community, it really gets communities drawn together. There's legacies of facilities like this Gary W. Harris legacy of the Canada Games Centre, and there's always everything going on around the athletes. There's 1 million kids trying out to make their Canada Games provincial or territorial teams. So by the time they get here, they're pumped and ready to go.
Going to Canada Games over the years, names like Steven Stamkos pop up later on at the professional level. We've seen Olympic athletes begin their national exposure at the Canada Games level. How much of a platform is this for future success when it comes to the athletic experience?
Well, I think it's one of the things that's very much in line with the development of athletes in the country. And if you hear any of the athletes talk, Bruni Cern talked at the Hall of Honor the other night, Jen Heil, Katrina LeMay-Doan, who've all gone through Canada Games, they've said that this absolutely has an impact on their development and where they want to go with sport.
Mitts for many. Tell us a bit about that, and how excited are you for an announcement like this?
So this is one of the greatest legacies of games that happens. We try to encourage athletes from across the country to get involved in various charities events. This one was the Mitts for Many that was initiated by the Red Deer Committee, and it supports the Mustard Seed Group. And as you've seen this morning, thousands of mitts are being donated to help the less fortunate in our society.
A couple of rapid fire questions. Your favorite Canada Games sport event is what?
Badminton.
Why badminton?
Well, that's where I started.
How cold is Red Deer from your perspective?
Well, you know, the way Montreal can get pretty cold too, but Red Deer was very cold a couple of days ago, at -40 or something. It's warming up, but one of the things we certainly look after is the security of the athletes. I can remember, and if you were up in Whitehorse, the fog ice that we had to stop games for about 2.5 days, because the security of our athletes is absolutely important to what's going on.
On a question for anybody watching who's never been to the Canada Games, they should come to watch the Canada Games because why?
Because they will see Canada in its purest form with all the things that are great about the country and how our youth get engaged with where they're going.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy Red Deer.
Thank you very much.
When we return, second half action. Team Ontario taking on Team BC. We will get you to the game next.
Welcome back inside Gary W. Harris Canada Games Center, and Ontario is rolling again. They have dominated their opposition so far. Man, do they get fired up, and why wouldn't they be fired up? They're getting contributions from everybody, Tim.
Well, Aaron McDonald playing well at both ends of the court, changing the BC shots down on defense, and then going back the other way. And you know, he causes two players to defend him, which opens it up for the likes of Lee Melnick and Adel Ahmed to get open looks in the paint, and they don't get that many open looks in the paint normally, so they're doing a good job of converting.
Lee Melnick, the 24-year-old, leading the way right now with 12 points. He's done that on 6 of 6 shooting from the field so far, and you know they continue to shooting well over 60% still, with phenomenal. This young BC team trying to take something away from this performance against Ontario. Right now they trail 39-15. Thank you for joining us here on TSN. Dustin Nielsen and Tim Frick with you. A shot there, and that kind of sums up the night shooting for BC, in and out.
Well, BC getting a nice open look from Nick Van Bakel, but just not able to put it down.
And Bakel had a three-pointer earlier, and now walking right in there was Colonzo. And Colonzo had an excellent first half as well. 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 points. You really like the way he's playing so far.
Well, Colonzo's the unsung hero, but Lee Melnick now 7 for 7. What a performance.
Everything he's touching is going in right now. Now controlled by Hagel. Watch there by Voss. Hagel throws it underneath, and you know what? McDonald got a piece of it before it eventually, I think, bounced off the hand of Gabe Harrison. But that's the challenge you have if you're going to lob a ball into the paint.
That's right. Great job by BC to get Harrison open with the seal down low, but the long reach of Aaron McDonald tipping that ball away.
And when we talk about the paint in the first half, Ontario 38 points in the paint, BC just 12, which you seemed a little surprised by.
Well, BC usually has should have a mismatch with two big players out there to Ontario's one, but they were just not able to capitalize.
Saw them take advantage of some height there in Harrison. Now things open up a little bit for him. He'll dump it off to Ben Garrett, who opened the scoring way back in the first half for BC. Leaves it there for Hagel. Harrison wide open, left side. A little bit of hesitation. It was McDonald's hand that got in there and forced a double pump from Harrison.
Yeah, the pass a little bit low, which by the time Harrison corralled it, McDonald was able to get over and put some pressure on. Nice move by McDonald, too, to not foul.
Eric Voss bringing the ball up the court here for Ontario. Voss from the elbow, no good, back rim, rebound to Van Bakel. Winner of this game will face Quebec in the semifinals. Hagel trying to work here on Colonzo. Not gonna work just yet. Van Bakel, nice spin move. Runs into trouble there, Melimick, 3 to shoot. Van Bakel puts it up and looked like it might go, but bounces out on him.
BC's luck really not improving here in the second half at all. But
and it's going to be called there on Melimick, the travel call.
The way it works in wheelchair basketball, there's no such thing as a double dribble. However, the traveling violation, you can push 2 times on your wheels and then you have to bounce, pass, or shoot. And if you make that third push, it's a violation.
Hagel back the other way. BC in the first half, just 7 of 33 from the field, 21.2%. Now back to Harrison here on the wing. 6 to shoot, dumps it inside. Reverse layup coming. That won't go, rebounded there by Melimick as Jazeski couldn't get the reverse to fall. Voss turns around, buys himself a little bit of time and room. Now throws it in the middle, Ahmed. He'll put it up, and that one gets a friendly roll off the front of the rim.
Boy, Ahmed having a career game here as he faked the pass to McDonald, which opened up a bit of space for him to get his scoop shot away.
Ahmed had 4 points coming into this game in the tournament. He's got 8 already here in Red Deer. Hagel, watched by Colonzo. 3.5 minutes gone, third quarter. Van Bakel with the shot, front rim and out, right into the hands of Voss. Voss sees Colonzo up the right side. Colonzo has Melimick with him. Colonzo bobbles it, drops it off for Melimick. 7 of 7 from the field, throws it underneath. Batted away by Van Bakel, but calmly right back to Colonzo. Colonzo will leave it there for Melimick. Melimick gets it to McDonald. 4 to shoot, bounces away, and Harrison will take over for British Columbia. Leaves it there for 11 in blue, Ben Garrett. Garrett drops it off to Hagel. Hagel quickly to Harrison. Harrison turns, dumps it off to Van Bakel, and Van Bakel puts it up and in with 5 to shoot.
Well, great job by Derek Jazeski to backpick Aaron McDonald. That opened up that mismatch inside the key, and Van Bakel able to capitalize.
First points of the half for British Columbia. Now Voss, the other way for Ontario, drops it inside. Melimick up again, 8 for 8 with the one-hander.
He's having a career game as well, and you know, both he and Ahmed were on the 2017 U23 team. They didn't see very much court time, but obviously that experience has helped immensely.
Hagel gets it to Van Bakel. Van Bakel, just a 17-year-old, drops it off inside. Nice feed over the shoulder for Hagel, who's going to try a shot, went high off the glass. And the rebound scooped up by Melimick. Here's McDonald. Hasn't had many touches here early in the second half. Finds Colonzo, up and in. Colonzo rolling towards the hoop. Use that momentum to finish it off. And BC will call a timeout. The lead for Ontario has grown to 30 in large part due to Lee Melimick, who's a perfect 8 for 8. Well, one of the good things about the Canada Games, and we're here at the Canada Games Center, is that athletes from other sports get to come and cheer on their fellow athletes here with Team Ontario. We have a great contingent of it tonight here.
Oh yeah, that's the fun part about the games. You know, it's a tremendous multi-sport experience. Great idea to have the Canada Games. If you're going to go to the Olympics or the Paralympics, you need that multi-sport experience, and that's what Canada Games provides.
47-17, Ontario looking here tonight like they have pretty much the entire tournament so far. Now it'll be controlled, played underneath the hoop, but turned over, and it'll be Ontario ball.
You know, you look at Ontario's record, they had a couple of silver medals in 07 and in 2011, and then they fell out of contention in 2015 as a young team. So if BC can take any consolation, this is what the future could look like.
Here is Voss now. Drops it off underneath for McDonald. McDonald, no problem. 49-17. Ontario has brought in a couple of subs. Sarah Black, 23-year-old, coming into the game as well, and 22-year-old Maninder Hoti also getting into the game.
Well, Manny Hoti is one of Kathy Ludwig's proteges, started playing in her Burlington club, or Brampton, I should say, Cruisers.
Here is Van Bakel. He comes up short from about 17 feet, shaking his head as he rolls back down the court.
Well, sometimes the only way to get experience is to get out there and get that experience. And
well, maybe next time he hits from 17.
Yeah, you're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take, as they say. But boy, what a performance by Team Ontario. Dustin, they got the two bigs in now too, along with Manny Hoti, so they've got a big lineup in.
Robesniak waving off McDonald. McDonald will come in. Now they'll dump it off to Voss. Voss spins. And that will be Hoti caught on the offensive foul there.
That's right. When you set your picks, you really should turn your chair and park and give the defensive player a little bit of opportunity to avoid it. If you ram them like that with the front of your chair, you'll get a foul pretty well every time.
Yeah, Hoti wasn't arguing that one. You could see by the look on his face, he knew he was guilty of the foul.
Great idea, though. Top marks for enthusiasm and effort.
Zoe Hahn is checked into the game here for Ontario. And that one is up and in by Young. McDonald may have seen the last of him with his team up by 30. McDonald checks out. Now here's Voss. Voss brings it ahead. Puts on the brakes at about the free throw line. Spins back up top. Getting a read on things here is Voss underneath. And a good active hand there by Hagel to knock that one out of bounds with 3 to shoot.
Robesnik's crashing the key at a bit of a bad angle, though, so tough passing angle and a tough receiving angle, but Ontario maintains possession.
Hahn will check in here. Now inbounds the ball.
Well, they forgot to start the clock again.
Clock didn't start, but a good job by the officials.
Yeah.
And if you're just joining us, once again, we mentioned right at the beginning of the broadcast, the first time ever we've got an all-female officiating crew, and I'll say this, I think they've done a terrific job here today.
They've been fantastic, and it bodes well for the future of women in officiating, particularly for women's sport.
Quick feed underneath is a good one to Tanner Young. A nice pass there by Van Bakel. That'll be controlled and played ahead. Stolen away there by Matthew Norris. Norris drops it inside to Young. Young puts it up off the glass. No good. Rebound to Van Bakel. And Van Bakel is able to finish. I'm not obviously around the sport very often, but watching Van Bakel, and you mentioned he could be here in 4 years, I think he's one of those guys who'll be watching for sure in 4 years.
Well, absolutely.
Now dropped off to Voss. Voss stopped there by Jazeski. Voss now trying to spin on Hagel. Stopped up there. 7 to shoot inside. Robesniak draws a foul as he puts that one up. And it'll be his first trip we've had to the free throw line in quite a while in this game. 2:16 remaining here in the third quarter.
So a big crowd around Robesniak that time, and he draws the foul. Sometimes when you haven't shot a lot and you get a chance to go to the foul line, you get to refine your shot. It's kind of helpful. So someone who's a shooter, we try to, don't foul the guy. He's having a bad game. Let him shoot.
Rebesnik misses the first one. Is able to adjust, put the second one home. Hagel will have to hustle back to inbound the ball, puts it in the hands of Norse. Norse will in turn give it back to Hagel, who controls the ball a lot here for British Columbia. Inside to Van Bakel, and Van Bakel with the left hand knocks it down.
Well, Nick Van Bakel really coming off the bench, having a strong game for BC.
Rebesnik's ahead, cuts it inside, runs into Young, drops it off there for Hahn. Gives it to Black. Black up and in. He had 4 points in the second game of the tournament.
Sarah Black with a nice little bank shot from the left side.
Hagel underneath, a nice look to Young, who is cutting towards the hoop, and Young is able to finish it off. Nice ball distribution there from Hagel. Now some pressure here and a turnover. Norse steals it again, second steal of the quarter. Norse is going to take it in, puts it up, and puts it down.
Well, we talked about Matt Norris earlier, and he took that big spill right in front of us. You know, over the half, got a break, came back, and calmly dropped that one in.
Left the game momentarily, and right now making a big difference defensively as BC applies a little bit of pressure here on Ontario, trailing 52-29.
Well, Coach Ludwig getting a few players in the game that haven't played much in the first half, and BC taking advantage of that.
Boss looking for somebody to inbound the ball to, gets it away. When you have a big body like that, able to throw it up there for Rebesnik's taken away. Rebesnik goes and gets it back towards the hoop, and that one behind the head of the intended target, Manny Hody, but he goes and gets it, drops it back to Black. Up top to Voss, watch there by Jazeski. Voss turns, Voss is gonna take it. Voss can't get it to go. Rebesnik gets the rebound, puts it back up, and gets a friendly roll for the 2 points.
Well, Rebesnik, I think, is averaging somewhere around 12 points a game, so, and in not that many minutes, so he's an impact player.
12 points in the first game, 13 points in their second game. 22-year-old. Lost to inbound here as the final few seconds tick down. Stolen there by Van Bakel here late in the third quarter. Van Bakel, well, he holds for last shot, drops it off. Underneath to Norris. And they're gonna say basket won't count.
So it must have been a foul on the pass. BC still will have the opportunity, though, for last shot. Let's see if they manage that clock wisely.
Eric Voss, the guilty party. Well, inbound it, get it down low to Young. Young puts it up, no good. Rebound, he gets it back, goes up again. Can't get it a third time. And that'll be the charm there for Tanner Young. Just before the buzzer sounds to wrap up the third quarter. BC gets a little bit of offense from Tanner Young at the end of the quarter, but it is still all on Ontario as they have a 23-point cushion. 54-31 the lead as Ontario looks to remain perfect here in Red Deer. Welcome back to Red Deer, everyone. Canada Games 2019. We're about to get rolling here on the fourth quarter, and British Columbia getting a little bit of offense off the bench here, building some momentum in this game.
Well, the big left-hander, Nick Van Bakel, coming in and scoring for BC. Also, Tanner Young picking up a few points. He started the game and struggled early, but now he's got 10. BC's shooting percentage on a bit of a rise. They're up to 29 now, so great job of taking advantage of the bench coming in from Ontario.
Ontario is shooting 43% in the tournament coming into this game. Tim, it's unbelievable. They're shooting 63% right now. They'll drop this one off underneath. That won't go. Now Harrison will bring it back the other way. Harrison at the elbow. spins. What a nice move there. Throws it underneath to Hagel, who can't finish. That's a shame because that was a nice play there by Harrison.
Yeah, by the time Harrison spun around, Hagel was a little bit deep though, so he had to kind of rush that scoop. BC lucky to get the offensive board, or the board. Rebound went off of Ontario chair.
Ball will be inbounded here by Jazeski. Goes up on the wing to Harrison. Harrison hesitates. Forced back out here. 5 to shoot now for Harrison. Throws it in the middle to Young. Young puts it up. And they've been getting some good looks here for Tanner Young right in the paint.
Well, he had Rubesniks and McDonald all over him. And earlier on the game, those shots weren't going down. And now all of a sudden they are.
Rubesnik gets it ahead to Colonzo. Colonzo takes a nasty stumble backwards. Pops right back up. Here's Harrison now. Leaves it there for Hagel. Colonzo right in his face. Drops it off to Norris. Norris inside to Young again. He's going to go up again. Ooh, this one all the way around and bounces out. Now McDonald back in the game here in the fourth quarter. Takes a look at Colonzo for a second. Wasn't there. Thought better of it. Now McDonald to the free throw line. Dumps it inside. Rubesnik. And they'll count it. He'll go to the line as he was bumped when he put that one up.
Well, that time Rubesnik got great chair position. He cut into the key straight in like he did earlier. Only this time he squared his chair up to the hoop and got away a nice shot.
Rubesnik at the line. Team up 56-33. That one won't go. And now it'll be taken away and played ahead into the hands of Ben Hagel. Hagel with Harrison to his left. Hagel looks briefly to Harrison. Now they'll give it to Young. Big part of the offense as of late. Young waits. 5 to shoot. Flips it up top. Jazeski gonna heave one towards the hoop. That'll come up short. And shot clock violation.
Good line, but a little bit short. Jazeski is shot clock expired.
He'll get it into the hands here of Michael Colonzo. Colonzo moves up. And that one won't go.
Oh, terrific change of pace move by Michael Colonzo. A couple of Ontario players down on the play, and Colonzo with that speed. It's pretty tough to defend that when you got a head of steam and when the Ontario player has a head of steam, the BC player is a little bit stationary there.
Nice burst from Colonzo. 7 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists actually for Colonzo. And we'll get a reset here for Vanessa Giancantarini. An 18-year-old. You're familiar with a lot of these Ontario players, aren't you, Tim?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to do clinics, coaching clinics and player clinics across the country for quite a few years now. And so I've seen these players grow and develop. It's kind of exciting. And, you know, I remember, I think when Vanessa scored her first basket, I think I happened to be in the gym. And here she is, you know, going to the playoffs in the Canada Games.
Colonzo puts it up a little bit too much. That one will bounce out. We'll take a high five there from McDonald. Do it again with 7:55 remaining here in the fourth quarter.
Nice example of imagery there prior to that shot by Colonzo.
Rebound, McDonald puts it up. He's going to get another crack at it. That one won't go. This time Harrison will bring down the rebound. Throws it ahead into the hands there of Hagel. Bounces away and will end up out of bounds and be Ontario ball.
BC moving the ball quite quickly there to Norris was also open far side, but again, when you break out, you've got to go wide. You know, it's way easier to come onto the ball as opposed to receive it from coming behind you.
Colonzo. So a pick there. That's going to open things up for Colonzo. Colonzo baseline now inside. They'll drop it off on the far side. That shot is up. No good. Rebound into the outstretched arm of Jazeski. Moves it ahead to Harrison. He's got Young ahead of the play. He'll give it to him, and Young goes off the glass and in. It's been a nice second half here for Tanner Young.
Good ball movement by BC. You can see Young attacking on an angle that time, which made pass reception that much easier.
14 for Young, as BC puts on a little bit of pressure of their own. And they're going to try to trap Colonzo there, and that one will bounce away. We'll have some substitutions here. BC's gonna go full bench. Get everybody into the game here, Tim.
That'll be a shift change, and some of the players who looking to be stars at the next Canada Games will get their opportunity to play in an important matchup. We got Megan Smith out there, number 4. Joel Alkema, his great-great-uncle Flo Alkema, big star for Canada back in the 70s. Lynette Bowen from Pender Island, and Riley Bissenden back in the game.
Bissenden was in a little bit early on. She dropped this one off. That shot there from Lynette Bowen, and it comes up short. And it will be Ontario ball. They have a 21-point lead. This game really changed. I mean, right at the beginning, they started the game on a 14-0 run, and I know the lead right now is 22, but just to take a 14-point lead against the young BC team really dictated the pace of the game. We saw the rest of the way.
That's right, and see another situation now. BC's only got the one big player in, Alkema. Boland's tall, but not quite as tall as Rebesniks and McDonald.
Now the ball will be brought up here by Garrett, tipped inside. And it's going to be a couple of free throws here for Alkema.
Well, Alkema did a great job to get inside. He and Bissenden working together right side. Kind of rushed the shot a little bit, I think, but you know, when you're a young player and you're trying to get experience, sometimes that happens. You get that opportunity, you go, oh, I got to take advantage of it.
9 points in the tournament coming into today. And that one a little bit too much. Get another crack at it here. 6:06 remaining. Ontario likely advancing here to take on Quebec. And we saw Quebec earlier today come from behind in the second half against Saskatchewan. And you were telling me a little bit earlier there after the third quarter, we saw a really quick game earlier today, but Ontario and Quebec should be a real doozy of a game.
Well, that's going to be a really fast-paced game, and you don't want to blink or leave the room for a moment. You'll miss a lot of it.
Rebesnik's pass, and Aaron one. That one will bounce out of bounds. BC will bring it back up. Garrett to inbound here for British Columbia. Bissenden gives it back to Garrett. And now throws it ahead. Bissenden's going to have to turn around, able to come up with it. She's going to take a look. Drops it off from the free throw line. That one a little bit short. And back into the hands here of Rebesniks. Far side, almost fell over there, but a good job to regroup by Colonzo. Throws it in the middle. Rebesnik gives it back to him. I think Colonzo thought he was going to take it up. Now he'll put it up. That one no good. Rebesnik's on the rebound, and a strong right hand, but it won't go, and eventually grabbed there by Alkema.
Well, that's incredible athleticism to tilt, grab the ball with one hand and get the shot up.
Alkema goes down hard as he was looking to pass that ball, and he'll get reset here. His team trailing right now. It's all Ontario, 58-35. They lead here in the fourth quarter. Welcome back to the second of two games for us here today. And earlier on, it was 27 points from Benjamin Palmer, pacing Quebec to a nice win over Saskatchewan.
Well, Quebec's had a great run at the Canada Games, 4 consecutive gold medals, and they make their way now to the semifinals, an opportunity for a 5th. And it looks like they'll play Ontario, Dustin.
Ontario against Quebec, and then on the other side, Alberta, who's looked very good at this event so far, will get New Brunswick here. We've got 4:51 left. BC trailing 58-35. Eric Voss back in the game here for Ontario. He will inbound. And it'll be brought ahead. Lee gives it back to Voss. Voss now, far side. Colonzo wide open from about 13 feet. That one off the front of the rim and will bounce out of bounds. BC will let that one roll out. Riley Bissenden to inbound the ball to Ben Garrett. Garrett brings it up. Good battle down low there. They'll move it over to Alkema. Alkema inside, and a block from behind there by Hoti. Hoti was engaged in a good battle over there. Down low, and looked like he got beat on the inside, but managed to come back and make a play.
He's got a huge wingspan, Manny Hoti. And great job there of blocking that ball, but he'll get a block on his stat sheet, but BC will retain possession.
One thing I wanted to discuss was in the earlier game we saw, there were females playing a bigger role than in this game. So how much does that vary from team to team? Because it's been mostly the men so far in this one.
Yeah, it really varies from team to team. I mean, there's a record number of female athletes here at the event, 36%, which is up from mid-20s in the last Canada Games. Each program, you know, it's a little bit of, do you have tall people, do you have short people, do you have mid-class, do you have low pointers, do you have high pointers? And sometimes it's just the way things unfold.
Oti is able to finish there for Ontario.
A big smile on his face as he shot over top of Alkema, who's equally as tall.
A big wingspan on the Alkema kid, you're right. They'll get it to him now, 10 to shoot. They'll go head-to-head here this time. Dropped off underneath, up and not in, though, for Riley Bissenden. And the rebound will be controlled by Zoe Hahn. Moves it ahead to Voss. Voss. Stopped up here. Drops it off to Hahn, just inside the free throw line. And that one's off to the right. It will bounce out of bounds with 3.5 to play.
A good job by Eric Voss to get his teammate Hahn an opportunity to get on the board. Hahn doesn't see much court time, so great teamwork by Team Ontario.
Bissenden, Alkema, baseline. Alkema is going to take it wide, not wide open, a little bit too much. That'll bounce down and into the arms there of waiting Eric Voss, who throws it all the way down to Colonzo, picks it up. Can't finish on the fast break. What a nice feed there from Voss.
Oh, it's a beautiful pass, but again, it's over the top of your head, and by the time you readjust and look at the basket, you're a little bit disoriented.
Here's Garrett. A hook pass down low in the corner. Bissenden's going to take it and knocks it home from the baseline there. Riley Bissenden.
From Victoria, British Columbia, in their final appearance here at, well, not in the tournament, but certainly Canada Games as she ages out.
Here is Voss. Voss gets a little bit of room there from Colonzo, dumps it inside, try to come back to Colonzo, batted away, and quickly scooped up there by Bissenden. She hopped all over that ball. Now she'll bring it ahead. Bissenden, good speed to get towards the free throw line. Alkema will step back. Alkema looking, Bissenden moved in, Alkema's gonna take it, knocks it down from about 12 feet along the baseline.
Nice shot by Alkema there. He thought he had Boland cutting in far side, looked her off and took the shot himself. Good focus.
A lot of potential in the 18-year-old, especially with that wingspan. Now here's Voss, inside, Hoti puts it up, not gonna go, rebound there. That's gonna be scooped up and then batted away, and we'll have a foul with 1:40 remaining.
Well, the one thing about the Canada Games for wheelchair basketball, it's sort of designed to match up with the under-23 World Championships for men and the under-25 World Championships for women in wheelchair basketball. But the difference between a 16 or 17-year-old and a 21 or a 22-year-old in terms of strength is quite noticeable.
Yeah, we've definitely seen it so far here today. You can kind of just look at the players and kind of guess which side of 20 they're on. Here's Voss. Voss puts it up. And it's a foul, and be 2 shots here for Eric Voss. He's a 22-year-old.
Voss has been on the U23 team for Team Canada and trains at the academy in Toronto. He's one of those guys that's kind of a quiet leader. You know, he doesn't say a whole heck of a lot, but he really leads by example and really manages the team for Team Ontario. And, you know, he and Colonzo have kind of grown up together through the system, and all the hard work they put in over the years really coming to the fore tonight.
1 for 2, rebounded there by Riley Bissenden. 90 seconds to play as she brings it up the court. That's Voss getting in front of her. She'll drop it back to Lynette Boland. Boland underneath. Alcamo with the long reach, able to grab that ball, puts it up, no good. And the rebound will be knocked away and out of bounds off British Columbia, so Ontario will inbound here.
Well, Boland is known for her pinpoint passing, and she got a nice pass in the low block to Alcamo that time.
Pass ahead. Voss trying to get there. Loose ball. Colonzo just swoops in and picks it up. And when you've got Colonzo and Voss out there, there's a lot of ball control. A nice feed there by Colonzo. Hoti able to scoop it up. A little bit too much on the layup attempt. And it'll be picked up off the boards there by Alcamo. Final minute of play here between Ontario and British Columbia, and a reach-in foul there on Hoti.
A nice job by BC. They were heading down the court in straight lines, and then all of a sudden they realized we better cross. As soon as you cross, what you force the defense to do is look over the other shoulder. And when they look over the other shoulder, it's kind of like the Roger Bannister, John Landy 1954 mile race, and you kind of lose track of what's going on and pick up the fouls.
Out control here by Boland. 8 to shoot. Tried to come across. Back door there to Ewart. That was not going to work. 39 seconds remaining here in Ontario. They have to be extremely happy with what they've been able to bring to the table so far here at the Canada Games.
They've controlled this game right at the start. Got that commanding lead and never really looked back. BC, though, we got to give them credit for hanging in there. As soon as Ontario put the bench in, they stepped it up and started scoring and made a game out of it.
Colonzo with the finish there. 2-second differential here between game clock and shot clock. Bissenden. Lob pass. Alcamo able to pick it up. Alcamo waits, looking for a teammate. Gets it back to Bissenden. 5 to shoot, puts it up a little bit too hard. Rebound will come out with the pull, and she'll have a chance to get on the scoreboard and will not be able to do it as Ontario picks up another convincing victory here in the 2019 Canada Games, this time 63-39, and they really haven't been tested that much yet, have they, Tim?
No, they haven't, and Ontario, incredible full court pressure, really put the BC team, back right from the beginning, and Ontario returning to playoff contention. Great performance by Coach Ludwig's veteran squad.
Ontario getting the job done. They started with the 14-0 run and never let up in a convincing victory over BC. They will advance to semifinal action against Quebec. That will happen right here at the Canada Games in Red Deer.
The Red Deer 2019 Canada Winter Games are presented by Nova Chemicals. Plastic is a valuable resource, not to be discarded. Put it to better use. Kindly recycle while enjoying the games. By MNP, proud supporter of the 2019 Canada Winter Games. By Navigator, when you can't afford to lose. By the City of Red Deer, it's in the spirit of sport. It's here. It's Red Deer. By The Look Company, building sport and event environments that are always engaging, the proud branding partner of the 2019 Canada Games.
As we take a look at our medal standings, Quebec continuing domination, 27 total, including 7 gold medals, while the host Alberta with 17. And the Canada Games coverage continues tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific is where you can watch the boxing final. And thanks so much for watching that fantastic doubleheader of wheelchair basketball as round-robin action wraps up. Semifinal action takes place tomorrow, and that concludes our coverage of Day 5 at the Canada Games.